I'm Christine Lisi. World Cup semifinals, France has just beaten Morocco 2-0 and will face Argentina in the final on Sunday. For the first time in 4 weeks, Jets quarterback Zach Wilson will be in uniform as the backup. The team is preparing as though Mike White will start. Wilson, benched November 23rd after struggling badly in the Patriots loss, will replace Joe Flacco as the number 2 QB this week. The move explained by head coach Robert Saleh.
Zach's been doing a great job. He's been deliberate in his approach over the last 3 weeks. He's been holding himself accountable with regards to how he wants to attack practice, how he's been performing in practice, going against our defense, which I think is a pretty good defense to go against.
Jet star defensive tackle Quinnen Williams with a calf injury considered 50-50 to play Sunday. Receiver Corey Davis on target to play. He did sustain a concussion against Buffalo. NBA, Hornets point guard LaMelo Ball upgraded to questionable tonight against the Pistons, reports ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. He is hoping to be able to play. Ball did miss the last 11 games with a left ankle sprain.
The new Venture X card from Capital One. Earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars and 5x miles on flights when you book through Capital One Travel, plus 2x miles on all other purchases. Capital One. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Oh, by the way, it's a hump day.
It's hump day.
Let's hump, everybody.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Tigers begin bowl practice.
Hump day.
They've leaked a video.
It's hump day.
What do we know about it?
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Saints back on the practice field.
Hump day.
They've released an injury report.
It's hump day.
Who will play in this meaningless game against the Falcons?
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Stromile Swift next hour.
Hump day.
Tiger basketball got to win.
It's hump day.
Mark Zinno next hour.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
He covers the Falcons.
Hump day.
Sonny Cumbie will join us in hour number 3.
It's hump day.
Played and coached under Mike Leach at Texas Tech.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Looking forward to chatting with Sonny Cumbie here in hour number 3. All right. It's after further review. We're glad you're here with us. Always appreciate Pluckers trivia every single Wednesday. So get on by. You're looking for something to do tonight. All right. LSU hit the practice field for its first practice of this bowl season on Monday. We did learn that the Tigers will have their first media availability of practice on Saturday. So as we sit here today on Wednesday, we are about 72 hours away from having the opportunity to speak to Brian Kelly for the first time since the SEC championship game loss and subsequently the Citrus Bowl press conference that Wednesday. What this means is it'll be the first opportunity to really dig in and to mostly take roll. Who's going to play, who's practicing, who's injured, who's opted out, what guys that have declared for the draft are still going through bowl prep. Well, what LSU did on Wednesday, they dropped a video on their social media, and so you know what we did. We decided to go all investigative reporter. We put on our Mission Impossible hat. You went with the the Tom Cruise Mission Impossible, huh? You go with the old school Mission Impossible?
No, I went with this one.
Is that because it's the first one that popped up?
That's exactly why.
Yeah. Always going the extra
100%.
mile. Always going the extra mile, that Muse.
Well, I had a different theme picked out, and you were like, let's just use Mission Impossible. So I said, okay.
What's the number one question everybody wants to know about the bowl game?
Is Jaden Daniels going to play?
You're damn right. That's the number one question. I tell you what. I got out my monocle.
Oh.
And I looked really closely at this video. Show the video, Paulie. Watch it with me. If we scroll through 2 seconds into the video, you'll notice a big-haired figure that looks eerily similar to LSU starting quarterback. Hard to tell because it's a profile shot, and he's wearing a hoodie. But if you scroll the video a little further, you'll notice the dark figure glances at the camera, and it is, in fact, Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels sitting in a meeting room there in football ops, going through bowl prep now. You might say, clearly that's an indicator that Jaden Daniels is going to play in this bowl game. But if you do, in fact, scroll a little bit further after Brian Kelly talks to his team and the team takes the field, you'll notice some quarterbacks taking some drills and some snaps and throwing some balls. Now, it's hard because it's a glancing shot here, Muse, but if you really slow it down, you'll notice it's not Jaden Daniels. It's Garrett Nussmeier throwing the ball. But that wouldn't be it, Muse. That wouldn't be the only one. A little further on in the practice, you'll notice another figure wearing a red non-contact jersey, throwing a football, and as we saw,
it's also not Jaden Daniels.
It's the Nuss Bus again. Well, we'll run it forward. There's a nice shot of Mike Denbrock laughing. And I tell you what, he's a jovial fella, that Mike Denbrock.
Spirits are high.
Don't you love him?
I do.
He's fatherly.
Yes.
You love Mike. How can you not love Mike Denbrock? But you know what they did? They put that shot of Mike Denbrock right there to distract you from what was coming in the very next frame, which is another pass. Oh. And there's number 33, the receiver, blocking the quarterback, Muse. So
almost entirely.
You can't tell who it is. Is it Jaden Daniels? Well, if we scrub a little further, the error they made is you can see on the follow-through as number 33 moves to his right. That looks like a 1 and a 4, doesn't it?
It does.
We zoomed in on the image. It's Walker Howard. So, Jaden Daniels, I'm deducing, in the meeting room, not on the practice field. Matt House angrily stomping around. That's actually an editorialization on my part. I don't know that he's angrily stomping around. He's just looking at a play sheet there as he is walking around the practice field. Beautiful shot there of a player running. Looks like number 18, doesn't it?
A little bit.
Actually, it might be number 19.
Could be. Jersey's rolled up. We don't know. Is it a 9? Is it an 8?
I'm going to guess that's not B.J. Ojolari. Remember, he's declared for the draft. We don't know if he's playing in the bowl game. Certainly does. That's a 1.
Clearly a 1.
That's clearly a 1. What is the second number? Who wears number 19? No, really, I want you to look up who wears number 19 because I really don't know off the top of my head who wears number 19 for LSU. But my guess is it's a defensive back of some sort because I think that's who that is.
Number 19 for your Fighting Tigers of LSU is Jordan Allen.
That would exactly explain why I have no idea who it is. A defensive back out of LCA. Another player hitting a tackling dummy. Could that be B.J. Ojolari? No, it's not. Micah Baskerville there, however, in the backdrop. You see it right there? Back left, Baskerville.
I see him.
He will apparently give it one more go as a member of your Fighting Tigers of LSU. Jamar Kane looking super fit, super happy with his squad.
I like the beard.
Yeah, really good beard. There's some backups on the offensive line scrolling through. Quincy Wiggins, 93 on the practice field. Great to see that. We know he's not playing. He's redshirted this year.
Right.
But nice to see 93 out there on the practice field. So a lot of shots and backups. And then, who dare flash in your screen but senior running back number 4, John Emery. Now, this does not mean John Emery's returning for another year of football, but it does indicate that John Emery will, in fact, play in the bowl game if he's going through this bowl practice. Don't worry if you're bored with this. So am I. But we're scrubbing 34 seconds into a 51-second video, so we're almost done. Noah Cain there on a run.
Like that.
Cannot see who the quarterback is who handed him the football, but one more quarterback shot. You can only see one jersey number, but that jersey number clearly is a 1. And as I zoom in on the facial features, pretty clear that's Garrett Nussmeier throwing the football. And then, how about this, actually? How about this transition? How about this transitional? You see that, Muse?
That's good.
This is Zapruder film-esque.
Yeah.
This is what we would call a wipe. How about that, Paula? You like that? Paul, look at Paul. I know my video terms. You can tell, while it looks like the same shot of the quarterback, doesn't it? You could clearly tell when you freeze it. It's spliced there, and they wiped from one shot to the next, and they wiped from Nussmeier throwing to Walker Howard throwing. How about that? How about that, Muse?
Very aesthetically pleasing.
I'm going to tell you what. These video guys over at LSU, they're good.
It doesn't answer the question, though.
And then there's Brian Kelly.
So he'll be there.
Now, here's my final question for you, Muse.
All right.
This frame shot right here of Brian Kelly talking. You notice a gentleman taking a knee right behind him in a red jersey?
I do.
What positions wear the red jerseys, Muse?
Quarterbacks or injured players.
That appears to be a dark-skinned fella.
It does.
And to the best of my knowledge, LSU has one and only one African-American quarterback.
They do.
That would be Jaden Daniels.
It would be.
And that would lead me to believe that that's him, number 5, kneeling down next to his head coach at this team meeting. But again, it's only a mere deducement, and I could be dead wrong. Tight shot of Matt House. Break it down, Tigers on 3. LSU football. I think we've done some incredible investigative work here.
I agree.
Ace. You've done some fine detective work. Ace. You know, I'd fully planned to really only do that for about maybe 60 seconds and then move on to the tight end commit that they got that we didn't talk about yesterday. I did not think I was going to spend an entire segment doing that, but it kind of feels worth it.
Yeah. I mean, look, the people need answers, Matt. And if they're not just willingly going to give you answers, you have to go seek them out.
But you know good and damn well, that they edited that to show us exactly what they wanted us to see.
Of course.
So John Emery practicing, Jaden Daniels doesn't appear to be doing much out there, at least from what they showed us. But he is out there, team meetings. He was dressed in that practice as well. And we'll get some answers on Saturday when Brian Kelly does meet with the media. Okay, had some fun there to begin. Glad you're with us here. The Hump Day Show is, of course, brought to you by Pluckers. Let me knock out our first break of the show. When we come back, I do want to circle back. We'll talk a little bit about we told you yesterday that LSU got a commitment from a tight end for the class of 2023. I want to go a little deeper into who he is, what the impact is on this recruiting class, the roster next year, and all the good stuff. We'll get to that and the Saints injury report. We'll get to all that. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured, you know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done. Of course, we tell you all the time about Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys and the way that they help injured people around Louisiana and have for 30 years now. But even more so, Gordon, a great community partner, gives back through his Gordon Gives arm of his law firm. We've told you recently about the 500 bike giveaway here during the Christmas season, which is something Gordon's done for years now. And so pleased to announce Kim Mulkey, now part of the G team. The latest member of the Get Gordon team is Coach Kim Mulkey, who did help Gordon with some of the bike giveaways as well around the state. A great partnership there. So many student athletes have benefited through NIL with deals with Gordon McKernan. Kim Mulkey there as well. Of course, we're nearing the holiday season. Take care of those that you love. And remember, if you've been injured, get Gordon and get it done. Go to getgordon.com.
Thank you, Acadiana, for over 55 years of allowing Corvell Toyota in Opelousas to take care of you and your automotive needs. Enjoy this holiday season with family and friends. From the Corval Toyota family to yours, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
My dad just really enjoyed his life, and he enjoyed smoking cigars and thought he was invincible. My stepdad quit smoking, and he really felt like he was in the clear. Sorry. I wish they would have been screened annually. It's not just you affect, it's your entire family.
For more information on Ochsner's free smoking cessation program and to see if you qualify for early lung screenings, visit ochsner.org/quit.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Time doesn't stop, and the world keeps spinning. Community, culture, and communications, the powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution, a network built for every possibility, moving faster than ever before, streaming us forward into the future. And the revolution is closer than you think. RTC, ETEL, and Vision.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Saints back on the practice field, getting set to take on the Atlanta Falcons at the Dome. The Dirty Birds. Saints, of course, are Week 1 winners in a dramatic comeback fashion against the Falcons. Getting a little healthier. Pete Werner was out at practice earlier today, met with the media. We'll give you a full practice report and injury report coming up in just a bit. But a little bit of breaking news here. Adam Schefter just minutes ago tweeted that the Saints have claimed former Texans and Cardinals running back Eno Benjamin on waivers today. That's per league source and later confirmed by Drew and Jason Rosenhaus, who are Eno Benjamin's agent. So the Saints have added a running back here with Eno Benjamin. Eno Benjamin, remember, the Saints put in a waiver claim on him a few weeks back. He played his rookie season last year in Arizona, played 9 games for the Cardinals. This season, played the first 10 games of the season with the Cardinals. They waived him, and the Saints put in the waiver claim and got beat because the Houston Texans had priority. So he spent 2 games in Houston. He had just 3 rushing attempts for 1 yard, and then was waived again. And now the Saints have claimed apparently Eno Benjamin on waivers. You would presume that Benjamin will provided he gets here and goes through the rest of the week of practice, how quickly he can get up to speed, that he would be active for New Orleans this weekend against Atlanta, bolstering that running back room, which we know has gone through a little bit this year of a transformation there behind Alvin Kamara. You know the history. They didn't draft a running back. They brought in Abram Smith as an undrafted free agent out of Baylor. He didn't make the team. They had Mark Ingram when he got injured. They brought in Latavius Murray, who it certainly seemed like Murray was going good, and then ultimately he chose to sign a deal with Denver onto their active roster, and Saints activated Mark Ingram when he was healthy, and then Ingram now has an MCL injury, which looks like it's going to cost him his season and possibly end his career if he's not able to catch on with another team next year. He is a free agent. And so the Saints were looking for running back help, and now they've got Eno Benjamin, who, earlier this year, in the 10 games that he played with Arizona, more than competent. 70 rushing attempts for just under 299 yards, so averaging 4.3 yards a carry. That is a very competent back, a young dude with fresh legs who was a 7th-round pick of the Cardinals a year ago out of Arizona State. So we'll see if Eno Benjamin can get up to speed quickly enough to be active for the Saints on Sunday. Stay tuned there. All right, it's after further review. LSU got a tight end commitment yesterday. I'll talk about that in just a second. I want to remind you quickly about the aesthetic medicine and anti-aging clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. That's theantiagingclinics.com. Again, gift cards, y'all. Talk about them all the time, especially this time of year. Great for anybody on your list, great stocking stuffers. And with every gift card that you buy, remember you get great boosted savings as well at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Great incentives. It's there at theantiagingclinics.com. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. Again, that's theantiagingclinics.com. So LSU picked up a commit from 3-star tight end Jackson McGowan out of the for the 2023 class. He's a 3-star out of the state of Ohio. He apparently has had a long-time relationship with Mike Denbrock. McGowan was committed to Luke Fickell when Fickell left to take the Wisconsin job. He decommitted from Cincinnati, and Mike Denbrock, who had the relationship there from his time at Cincinnati where he had been previously recruiting him, Denbrock went, it was a good shot if you want to pull that up, Paulie, of Denbrock and McGowan from a visit that Denbrock made with him up there in the Cincinnati area there in Ohio. It's actually in Miamisburg. I've never even heard of Miamisburg, but Miamisburg, Ohio is the name of the town that he's from. So a 3-star, 6'4", 225. He's the 24th commit for LSU's class. He is, again, Ohio-based. He's ranked number 540 overall in the country and the 26th best tight end in the 247 composite is Jackson McGowan. A couple of things on this for McGowan in particular, but then also with this class. A tight end for LSU is an absolute must, both high school players and the portal. Keep in mind, LSU has one scholarship tight end on the roster presently. One. Your only scholarship tight end is Mason Taylor. Of course, Cole Taylor is has entered the transfer portal. The only other 2 tight ends you had were Nick Storrs, who his eligibility is up, and then, of course, the former walk-on quarterback out of St. Paul's. Why am I blanking? Help me. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about.
O'Dowd?
Huh? No. The former he played tight end, 82.
Oh, Mashburn, Jack Mashburn.
Jack Mashburn.
Ooh, got me too.
So that was it. Those are your only tight ends on the roster. So, look, the fact that we're sitting here trying to struggle to remember a former walk-on's name at tight end kind of illustrates the problem. So, so you have Mason Taylor coming back. You've already got Mac Markway, who's a big 4-star tight end for the class of 2023 committed. And now Jackson McGowan means that's the second incoming freshman tight end that you'll have for this class. Again, 3-star, the 16th best player in Ohio, 6'4", 235. He's the 25th best tight end in the country. In the 247 composite, he's number 540 overall in the country. Had been committed to Cincinnati, decommitted. Now he's an LSU commit. So those are your 2, and you know they're going to add a veteran via the portal. They've already put out one tight end offer via the portal. And look, Trey Knox, the tight end from Arkansas, went into the portal yesterday. There's going to be a transfer tight end that's part of this LSU class. There's got to be. You've got to have another veteran player at that position on this team for next year. So they're going to add a tight end somewhere. Now, one of the questions I know that I've been asked a bunch is, man, well, if you add another tight end, if you had a veteran tight end, would that maybe scare off a guy like Mason Taylor? No, and here's why. Brian Kelly even said before the season, they're going to run 2 tight end sets. And a lot of us in the media asked the question, like, how are you going to run 2 tight end sets when you don't have tight ends? And, I mean, Cole Taylor was the only returning tight end. And remember, Mason Taylor was coming in as a 3-star, kind of undersized. He wasn't a guy that we were all thinking was going to have a big impact this year. But he put on 20 pounds, got bigger, and Brian Kelly raved about him in fall camp. And clearly he made an impact as the season went along. But the other thing I'll tell you is if you go back and look at Brian Kelly's teams at Notre Dame, almost every year he featured 2 tight ends. The COVID year, 2020, he had Michael Mayer, who had 42 catches, and Tommy Tremble had 19. I mean, they feature 2 tight ends. In 2019, Cole Kmet had 43 catches, and Tremble had 16. In 2018, Alizé Mack had 36 catches, Cole Kmet had 15. In 2017, they had 4 different tight ends that all caught passes that year. My point is, like, Brian Kelly wants to use multiple tight ends. You're going to have your guy who's the guy, and I think we're all assuming that's going to be Mason Taylor next year, unless if you bring in, one of these transfers who may take that role and allow Taylor more of an opportunity to continue to grow. But Brian Kelly will implement 2 tight end sets. They'll utilize multiple tight ends in the passing game, so that should never be a concern. With McGowan specifically, I know there's always this tendency, and it's just the nature of how we all think right now in the star rating culture. You're going to look at that and you're going to go, man, you're going to get really excited about the 5-star guys or the high 4-star guys. You're going to get excited about Lance Hurd and Shelton Sampson. You're not going to get excited about the 3-star tight end from Ohio who had been committed to Cincinnati, and I understand that. But I want to remind you, Mason Taylor was a 3-star. Mason Taylor was a 3-star whose national rank was 492, and he was the 24th best tight end in the country in the composite. Jackson McGowan is a 3-star whose national ranking is 540, and he's the number 26 ranked tight end in the composite. They're basically the same guy a year apart. The question you have to ask yourself is, do you trust this staff and their ability to evaluate talent at that position in particular, because that's what we're talking about with tight end. Do you trust Brian Kelly, Mike Denbrock, to know what they're looking for in a tight end, to evaluate the talent at that position, bring him in and develop him? I do. We've talked about it literally since the day Brian Kelly was hired. The 2 positions that he has churned out more pros into the NFL draft have been tight end and offensive line. So I don't really question his evaluation of that position. So if they like this guy and he fits with what they want to do, cool, come on down, kid. So Tigers have added another tight end for the class of 2023. So you'll have Mason Taylor, you'll have Mac Markway, the big 4-star out of the St. Louis area coming in, and now Jackson McGowan, the 3-star tight end coming in as well. But you better believe they're still going to go add a transfer. They're going to add a veteran player at that position because they're just going to have to for next season. All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you aboard with us here. Man, a lot going on. Tiger basketball got a win last night. They beat North Carolina Central. Former Tiger great Stromile Swift is going to be with us at the top of hour 2. Talk a little bit about that. And another guy, he knows Kendall Coleman really well, who transferred in from Northwestern State. So Stromile's been kind of keeping a close eye on the team. So looking forward to having Stro on the show in about 30 minutes. Mark Zinno covers the Falcons and all Atlanta sports, does radio there in the ATL. He'll be with us in about 45 minutes from right now. We'll take a closer look at the Pelicans and then, at the Falcons. And then in hour 3, Sonny Cumbie is going to be with us. He's the head coach at Louisiana Tech. If the name sounds familiar, it should. Sonny Cumbie played quarterback at Texas Tech under Mike Leach and then got his coaching start as a GA at Texas Tech under Mike Leach. So he played for and coached under Mike Leach, part of that Mike Leach tree. And as we continue to remember Mike Leach, I'm excited to talk to Sonny Cumbie in hour number 3. Very grateful that he's willing to join us on the show. So that's coming up a bit later in the show. Let me knock out a break. When we come back, we'll go around the SEC, Bourbon Dictionary with Taylor Calandro in about 15 minutes. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
Hey, remember, the holiday lights are still going on over at the Baton Rouge General Hospital. If you want to get a little festive, make a night of this. It's a basically free way to have a good night here in Baton Rouge around the holiday season. The holiday lights over at the Baton Rouge General, that's going to run all the way through New Year's Eve. So you still got a few more weeks here to get on by and check out holiday lights if you've never done it. you can go to the website, brgeneral.org. This is what I would encourage you to do to get all the info. brgeneral.org if you want to see the info on dates and times and the complimentary tickets, how to get in, all the large green space. It's basically just turned into a big holiday light show. It's fantastic. Where to park, where you can walk through and all that stuff. You can get all the info at brgeneral.org. Again, brgeneral.org. The holiday lights is right there on the homepage of the Flipper. You can tap and then get all the information there. It's at the Baton Rouge General Hospital. brgeneral.org. That's brgeneral.org. The holiday lights going on right now at the Baton Rouge General Hospital.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Another day, another portal entry. A little breaking news. This just hitting here while we were in that last segment. LSU offensive lineman Xavier Hill has entered the transfer portal, reported by On3 Sports and others. But Hill becomes the third offensive lineman to jump in the portal. Of course, Marcus Dumerville earlier this week, Cam Wire as well. I don't want to sound repetitive and like a broken record, but we have literally been talking about this for a month, and the candidates were pretty obvious that LSU was going to lose their veteran players on the offensive line who hadn't played. And when they both when a lot of these guys got passed up by the two true freshman offensive linemen and you return your top 6, you're going to lose your depth. And so, as we've talked about portal targets for LSU, every time we've had this conversation, we've talked about they're going to have to replace guys in the secondary. They're going to get a veteran tight end. I've told you they're looking for a speedy wide receiver. Defensive line was going to be a key, especially on the edge, and offensive line. They're going to go get depth out of the portal on the offensive line. So, I mean, you're not going to look for starters. You can certainly bring people in to compete. You know, we've talked about a guy like Renfro from Cincinnati, who was, their starting center, on that team, the playoff team 2 years ago, was injured this year, but was there under Mike Denbrock. And that's a guy, Jake Renfro, who might be a target for LSU. And if he comes here, could come in, compete, and maybe even win that job. So you could have guys come in, compete to try to win jobs, but you return your top 6 guys from this past season. All those guys that are veterans, that have not played, that are in their third year and beyond, are going to look for a place to go play next season. So Cam Wire, Marcus Dumerville, now Xavier Hill. It was a very obvious thing to see. And now the key is go attack the portal and make sure that you provide some veteran depth on this team, so it's not your first 5 or 6 and then a whole bunch of freshmen. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. 288-8138, 288-8138 for Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. That's Relief Windows. You know where to find them. By the way, the showroom, if you haven't been yet, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, Airline Highway in Prairieville. If you're going south on Airline Highway, you cross Highway 42, a quarter mile on the right, you just can't miss it. It's gorgeous. They always have associates on standby whenever you walk in, no appointment needed. You can call and make an appointment, but no appointment needed. You can walk in at any point. They'll always have someone there to talk to you, to show you all of your options. It's Relief Windows. 288-8138, 288-8138 for Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. All right, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions.
Texas A&M! A freshman corner, Smoke Bowie, announced he'll enter the transfer portal. Bowie appeared in 7 games for the Aggies this year. He was one of 4 freshmen suspended for violation of team rules prior to the win against Miami in September. Among them, Evan Stewart, Chris Marshall, Denver Harris. Marshall and Harris are already in the portal, and now Bowie makes the third of those 4. He was rated one of the best safeties in the entire country. Another big loss there for the Aggies.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Safety Dylan Lawrence has entered the transfer portal. Lawrence is a grad transfer. He'll have 2 seasons of eligibility remaining. Joined Mississippi State back in 2019 as a 3-star prospect. He played in 23 games over the last 2 seasons. Mizzou, however, did pick up a commit. Mississippi State did, however, pick up a commitment from Miami transfer corner Kamari Rogers, who was a 4-star prospect out of the class of 2022.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
4-star linebacker Arian Carter announced his commitment to Tennessee on Wednesday. He picked the Vols over Bama and Ohio State. 6'1", 210-pounder. Plans to enroll early, be at Tennessee in January. 4-star athlete, the number 13 linebacker in the country for 2023.
The Auburn Tigers.
Hugh Freeze got his 3rd commit in 3 days. Got offensive lineman Connor Liu to join the Tigers 2023 class. Liu's a 3-star out of the state of Georgia. He was originally committed to Miami. 6'3", 280-pounder, the 40th best interior lineman in the country, according to the 247 composite. Auburn up to 13 commits now for their 2023 class.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Defensive line coach Anwar Stewart has signed a contract extension through the 2024 season. Pay him an annual salary of $350,000. His contract was initially set to expire coming up this June. So Stewart, who played collegiately at Kentucky, means all of Kentucky's defensive staff from this season is in line to return.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
And Bama men's basketball guard Namari Burnett underwent left wrist surgery. He is out indefinitely. Burnett started all 9 games this season before the injury. He is expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks, but plans to return this season for the Tide. 5-star freshman guard Jaden Bradley starts in Burnett's place. Burnett transferred in from Texas Tech before last season, but missed all of last year with a torn ACL. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products, online at gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale. That's what you always get at Gulf Coast Office Products. Check them out online at gcopnet.com. All right, we do a little Bourbon Dictionary with Taylor Calandro coming up in about 5 minutes from right now. Pels lost last night. 7-game win streak comes to an end. Disappointing. If there was one bit of solace, it was just not the Pelicans' night. I mean, they were terrible shooting last night, and it just never really went their way. If there was one bit of solace, it was Zion Williamson absolutely posterizing Walker Kessler, a guy who we watched last year in one game block 11 LSU shots, 11 blocked shots in a game against LSU last year. And Zion from the left wing just went right to the basket like Walker Kessler wasn't even standing there and slammed in his face. As a matter of fact, give me Graf on the dunk. Give me Graf.
Maji, front court chest pass to Williamson. Now Zion, as Kessler's going to back off of him, head of steam, drive in, punch it in, 2 hands, poster time.
It doesn't really make me feel better. The win streak wasn't going to last forever, though. Pels have the day off, and they'll be back at it against Utah tomorrow, see if they can get back to their winning ways. LSU basketball Tigers, meanwhile, did get a win last night over NC Central. Ugly game for the Tigers. Started off really slowly, and NC Central shot it pretty well in the first half, but then they went cold, and LSU got their sea legs under them a little bit, and had a really nice run at the end of the first half to give themselves a double-digit cushion, which they would just keep for the majority of the second half. Double-doubles for KJ Williams and for Derek Fountain, the Mississippi State transfer. So Tigers moved to 9-1 on the season. They'll play Winthrop on Saturday. All right, it's after further review. We'll talk more about the basketball Tigers with Stroh coming up here in about 20 minutes from right now. We'll knock out a break, come back, and we'll do a little Bourbon Dictionary with Taylor Calandro. Glad you're with us here. It's AFR.
AFR. It's a raving fan shout-out. Presented by Darren James & Associates, brokered by eXp Realty.
You know, no matter what phase of life you're in, if you're selling a home, the reason is because you're moving on to another phase of life. Maybe your family's growing and you need more home. Maybe you're an empty nester and you need to downsize and sell your current home. Maybe you've taken a job somewhere else, so you need to sell that home so you can move on. Maybe you're selling a home for a parent who might have passed on. Whatever the case may be, Darren James is so well aware of that, and his goal is to get your home sold and get you on to whatever is next in life. He wants to get your home sold fast, for the most amount of money possible, and the least stressful way for you as possible. That's Darren James. 335-7666 or online, agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. It has been a busy day of watching the weather in the capital area. Multiple tornado warnings across South Louisiana, but no major reports of damage here. Damage was reported, though, near Lafayette at a hospital and some neighborhoods. We have team coverage of the weather situation today across South Louisiana. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $11,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% with 72 months on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
A third of youth who grow up in foster care are homeless 18 months after aging out of care. But you can rewrite that story. Change a child's story. Become a volunteer today.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
They're the gang with the slang. This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
All right, wrapping up hour number one. Always appreciate a couple minutes with Taylor Calandro to answer your booze questions with the holidays upon us. Lord knows many of you are going to need it. Taylor joins us now. How are you, dude?
I'm good, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Can we start by giving a little bit of a recap of last week? We had the raffle. How did it go? What were the final numbers and tally?
I thought last week was a huge success. Maybe you could contribute to that too. We're still tallying, but it's in the $60,000 to $65,000 range as far as money raised for charity. We're still going through bottles for pickup. So if you haven't picked up your bottle yet, we'll be reaching out in the next day or two to people, but check our social media. We posted numbers on there Friday, so check social media, check the tickets, and stay tuned because the Van Winkles just arrived, and we're going to be raffling those in the next week or so.
Excellent. So for those that missed it, of course, last Thursday was the Calandro's Rare Whiskey Raffle. Virtual again. We did it here in the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge studio on the YouTube channel as well. Nearly $70,000 raised for charity, which is awesome. And so explain what's going on with the Van Winkles and the B-Tax and all that stuff.
Well, so we wanted to go ahead and do the raffle traditional like we do 2 weeks before Christmas generally. So we did it anyway, knowing we would probably not get our allocation, but we did get our allocation this week. We haven't talked about what we're going to do as far as raffling and sharing with people what the numbers were and everything, but it's going to be something on Facebook, I'm sure. So just pay attention to our social media in the next week or so, and we're going to announce it. It's going to be the same concept as the main raffle. And for those listening that haven't bought tickets, we are not selling tickets anymore. We stopped selling tickets Thursday. So only the tickets that were bought for the raffle are good for whenever we do that. So stay tuned to our social media.
So that's important also for people to know that if you did buy tickets for the raffle, don't throw them away. What is that noise, by the way? What is going on?
I have a 19-month-old, Mac.
You what?
I have a 19-month-old.
Oh, okay. I was like, what in the world is that back there? Okay. I was like, is someone slamming pallets around in the back of the store? What's going on? All right.
Just everyday things over here.
I get it. All right. Let's get to questions. You know the drill. You got questions for Taylor, fire away. You can email, tweet. You can jump in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat or text 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Zach Schwarzer said, ask Taylor, will you hold a bottle of CYPB for me?
I did. I held I don't know how many were on the list, but we held quite a few for the raffle. Sorry you missed it.
Brett DeGros said, ask Taylor, will you have any Four Roses straight barrel store picks coming up?
Nothing in the near future. We did one this past year. We got really lucky with that. Not in the foreseeable future from what I've heard. Speaking of Four Roses, though, we will have Four Roses limited edition small batch in the next little raffle we do with the Van Winkles, too. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, Four Roses LE annually is one of my favorite releases. So that's a unicorn bottle, which is really cool. Hey, explain, though, because, look, the Four Roses, when the single barrels come out, when the picks come out, they always go in a flash, and it's hard to get them. And sometimes it's easier to get barrel picks. Why is that one so difficult?
Well, they've really limited the allocation as far as how much they're putting out now, as far as barrel picks. So anything special from Four Roses in general, and they don't do a whole lot of special stuff. They pretty much stuck to their normal everyday things. But even those things are getting hard to get. But barrel picks in general, Four Roses especially being one of the main ones, have become very, very hard to get. There's just so much competition now.
Yeah. Matt Bushert said, ask Taylor, what's comparable to Midwinter Night's Dram?
Oh, that's a really tough question because so for people unfamiliar, Midwinter's Night's Dram is a High West product. It was in our raffle. It is a blend of ryes, and it is one of the best ryes every year that I try. What is comparable to that? I would say anything out of the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection that's rye, which is not super attainable either. But other than that, it's hard to find a rye that's as good as that. Maybe something Whistle Pig, but it's hard to find a rye as good as that.
Midwinter Night's Dram, too, and correct me if I'm wrong, they had really limited what they are even letting get out of the distillery. Like, you can get it there in allocation, but what is it? Look, everything that's allocated used to be far more attainable. As there's been this whiskey boom, obviously it's more difficult. But Dram's another one that's just been harder and harder to get.
And that one's been hard to get pretty much every year. I mean, it's always been a really, really small release. Even after they got acquired by a big company, even after High West got acquired by a big company, it's still been really hard to get. So that's one that's always been hard to get because it is, in my opinion, one of the best ryes, like I said, that is released every year.
Adam Whidden said, ask Taylor, 291 Colorado Bourbon, is it worth $100 for the barrel proof?
Man, I tried. Got an interesting take on 291. I think the liquid's okay. It is what it is. If you go pull the bottles up, they have stickers all over the bottles with awards.
Yeah.
It covers the bottle. Not my style, so I'm going to have to take a pass on them.
We tried it at for Scone and Tea last week, and it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
Did you see the bottles though?
Yes, yeah, I held the bottle. There's like 6 stickers on the bottom front for all the awards they've won. And typically, what happens is when whiskeys win awards, especially like at the San Francisco International Wine Spirits Competition, that's when they blow up and become insanely popular. But yes, there were stickers all over the bottle.
I don't know. It's just not for me.
Noah Bales asked Taylor, what's your favorite IPA?
Favorite IPA is I would say Parish Dr. Juice.
Grayson Lovick said, ask Taylor, do you carry WW Wyoming Whiskey Outrider 100 proof?
We've got just the basic Wyoming whiskey. I don't think we have that one, though. I think it's just the flagship.
Adam Berthelot asked Taylor, any Calandro's old elk picks coming in 2023? The last one was fire.
Yes. I mean, I'm sure there will be a few. We haven't done any that are coming in the next couple months, but we will not go through 2023 without doing at least one old elk pick.
Okay. You can get your questions in. We got about a minute left. It is like always an adventure of it. Like, is it possible to find like a quiet room?
I didn't realize he was that loud.
No, it's okay. Hey, are we on? Wait. Are you on AirPods?
I'm not on AirPods. No, not today.
You're holding up your handset?
Yes.
That's surprising. Okay. Anyway, last one. Craig Dugas, 4-gate port. Hey, Muse, do me a favor. When I'm just turn. Yeah, thank you. Just turn it down, and then when he talks, turn it back up. 4-gate Port Perry is comparable to Midwinter Night's Dram. What do you think about that one?
I had that one a few years ago, and everything I tried for 4-gate is really good. My only opinion of 4-gate is a little pricey.
Okay. Taylor Calandro from Calandro's. Be on the lookout for the Pappy and the BTAC raffle, which will be coming up, you said, in the next week probably?
Yeah. I would say within the next week for sure.
All right, man. In the meantime, of course, you get all your spirits over there for the holidays. Get on by and see Taylor and the gang. We appreciate it, man. Thanks for the time.
All right, Matt. Thanks.
All right, man. We'll see you. That's Taylor Calandro. This is After Further Review. Hump Day Show is brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, and Bluebonnet. Dine in, carry. Nope. Yeah, dine in, carry out, or delivery. That's right. Yeah. Uber Eats, DoorDash. It's at Pluckers, where if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird. Trivia tonight, 7:30, Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock, Nicholson. Get them by either Pluckers location. Play some trivia tonight, win some Pluckers gift cards, spin the prize wheel. Make a night of it. It's Pluckers. You don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird. All right, LSU Tiger basketball gets a win last night. Stromile Swift, former Tiger great. He'll join us coming up right after SportsCenter. Then we're previewing Saints Falcons with Mark Zinno coming up in about 20 minutes from right now. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. 29 offices across 11 different states. You know where to find them, Michelli.com. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Always direct you to the website because the website is such a great resource. Look, you can always go into the Harahan office, and like when you go into the office, you'll notice all these big, giant green signs which illustrate every different division or service that they offer. But if you can't make it into the office, it's easy. Then just go to the website. You can hit the services tab right there on the homepage at Michelli.com, and you'll see all that they do. Of course, they are an ISO 17025 accredited laboratory. A lot of people may not know what that means. If you don't, then it doesn't relate to you. But if you do, then you understand why that's so important. That's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Celebrating 75 years in business. Their experts will service measurement tools and equipment of all makes and models. It's calibration, preventative maintenance, weighing systems, you name it, they do it. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Online at Michelli.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP on a new 2022 Ford F-150, plus no payments for 90 days and 2.9% APR for 72 months. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Time doesn't stop, and the world keeps spinning. Community, culture, and communications, the powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution, a network built for every possibility, moving faster than ever before. streaming us forward into the future. And the revolution is closer than you think. RTC, ETEL, and Vision are now Rev. New name, same company.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news: Mississippi State is hiring defensive coordinator Zach Arnett as its next head football coach. The decision comes in the wake of Mike Leach's death earlier this week. As the Jets prepare for quarterback Mike White to start Sunday versus the Lions, Coach Robert Saleh announced Zach Wilson will be the backup QB. Wilson was benched after struggling badly in the Week 11 loss. Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa said he's not overly concerned about what the weather might be in Buffalo Saturday night when they visit the Bills. The forecast calling for an 80% chance of snow, a game time temp of 25 degrees as Miami looks to bounce back after back-to-back losses. A couple of reasons behind the Dolphins' mini-slide, points out ESPN's Dominique Foxworth.
Part of the problem in the last couple of weeks is the defenses they played against have played better, but Tua also has been antsy in the pocket, and I think that speaks to him being kind of an operator of a machine, and when that machine goes a little off kilter, then he doesn't exactly know what to do, and they can't have success, which is kind of been the issue with them so far.
The Cardinals put quarterback Kyler Murray on injured reserve. He'll have surgery on his torn ACL after Christmas.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us, AFR, presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there. Make it a good one. Mississippi State, as you heard, has promoted defensive coordinator Zach Arnett to head coach, full-time head coach, to replace Mike Leach, who, of course, passed earlier this week. We will, 1 hour from right now, head up to Ruston and chat with Sonny Cumbie, Louisiana Tech head coach who played for and coached under Mike Leach at Texas Tech. So we continue to remember legendary coach who died earlier this week at the age of 61. LSU basketball got a win last night, moved to 9-1 on the season. Pumped to invite Stromile Swift back on AFR, talk a little hoop. Stro, great to talk to you, man. How are you, dude?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. It's good to be back on.
Man, we appreciate the time as always. Hey, and you have a little bit of a tie to a guy on this squad with Kendall Coleman coming down from Northwestern State, of course, is up there in North Louisiana. What's the tie there?
Man, I was at one point I was trying to get him to come and play for me at Word of God Academy, but he, I have like some close friends that's really like close with his dad.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried to get him to come and play for me, but he decided to stay at Captain Shreve.
Got it. Ultimately played Northwestern State, now has made his way down to Baton Rouge to be on Matt McMahon's first squad. Hey, I'm just curious, and what you've been able to see of this team so far, what have been your impressions of the roster, especially considering the job Matt McMahon had to do in making over this entire roster, like literally from zero?
Man, it's really hard to tell right now. Like from my assessment, it's a pretty young team, a lot of talent. I see a lot of potential. And I like what I'm seeing out of K.J. Williams. I'm looking forward to Adam coming back. I got a cousin that really follows high school basketball, and he used to tell me about this kid, Adam Miller. out of Peoria, and just how good. And man, I've just been excited just to really see him come back off this injury and see how he plays.
So the thing about Adam Miller is, when Will Wade recruited him, he of course last year was supposed to be the guy that was going to be LSU's scoring threat. Tore the ACL, missed the season, and he's had some really bright moments so far this year, Stro. But he's known really as a shooter. I'm curious, in the past couple of games, Adams he was 0 from the floor last night. I don't know that you ever had an ACL or anything like that, but certainly you're aware of guys who did or what it's like coming back from that. How long is it realistic to think that a shooter would take to get back into rhythm to where they felt comfortable again?
Man, it's really hard to say because that's back then that was sometimes a career-ending injury, but with the technology that they have now, you're out maybe 6 months and you can come back. But I think it's more of a confidence thing of starting to feel comfortable with putting that type of pressure that you're normally used to putting on it. I never suffered an injury like that. I just had a bunch of little nagging injuries. I never had anything like that. But I can only imagine just from being around players, favoring that other leg, and I don't know, just the confidence thing, just putting pressure on it again and feeling comfortable going out there, running and getting back up and down. Yeah. I think with him, it's probably going to take him a little time just to kind of get back in the groove of things. But I think once he gets his rhythm back, just feeling comfortable running and cutting, starting and stopping, doing that type of stuff without thinking about it, I think he'll be okay.
I mean, he is averaging nearly 14 points a game. He's the second leading scorer. So I'm not trying to completely say it's been bad, but the past couple of games, it's been off rhythm. So be curious to watch him continue to develop and get more comfortable as the season goes along. Stromile Swift is with us here. What have been your impressions of Matt McMahon? Have you gotten to meet him yet, by the way?
I got a chance to meet him briefly. I came down for a LSU football game, and I was able to meet him briefly. Man, he seems really upbeat, energized, excited, ready to get the season started. Man, he's also doing a good job of reaching back to former players, just kind of trying to build that brotherhood back and getting guys to start coming back and supporting the team and really just being around. So I thought that was great. Another thing, I got a chance to talk to Taz, and man, he spoke really, really high of him, and just the things that he's learning from him. And for Taz to say, man, he feel like in a few years he'll be ready to run his own program. So I thought that was pretty huge, and that he's learning and Matt is pouring into him. So man, I look forward to seeing great things out of him.
Stro, anybody else? You mentioned KJ Williams, and I want to ask you. I'll ask you about KJ now. He was a dominant player, right? I mean, he was the Ohio Valley Player of the Year a season ago, and so far this year, he's been LSU's best player. I mean, he's essentially averaging a double-double. He's at 18 points and 8 rebounds a game, just a hair under a double-double. From what you can tell, and look, the schedule has been light to start. Do you see a skill set there that is translatable to where he can keep this pace once they get into SEC play?
I think he can. I watched a couple games. I think when they were in Hawaii, they played in the tournament in Hawaii.
Right, they were they were in the Caymans, but yes, in one of the tropical places, right?
Right. So I watched a couple of those games, and I feel like, man, he has what it takes. He plays with the energy, and I just think in the SEC, that's what you need. Man, you need a big guy that just goes out there and just lays it all on the line. And he can score. He can score the basketball. He rebounds. He does the things that it takes to play in the SEC, in the physical SEC.
Of course, LSU beat NC Central last night at the Maravich Center. They'll play Winthrop coming up this weekend. I'm curious, is anybody else on this team, any other observations you have watching them early, any player that's caught your eye or anything in particular about this team?
Man, I'm really, I know Kendall hasn't really got a feel for it yet, but man, I think he's a sleeper. like I'm still kind of waiting to see him come on, like just kind of turn it on and just really be like a big part of like the offense. I've seen this kid grow, and I just really feel like he has the potential to be a good player on this team.
Kendall Coleman, of course, Northwestern State transfer. It's going to be interesting to see how Matt McMahon continues to grow and develop this roster as the season goes along. Because, Stro, I mean, it's so bizarre to think. And the last thing I have for you is just your impressions of the you talked about Matt McMahon and meeting him, but just the job that he has to do when you consider, man, when he took the job within 2 weeks, he had 0 scholarship players. 0.
Right.
And when you try to get a team to play with any degree of continuity when you literally had 0 scholarship players, it seems like an almost impossible task. Look, I mean, you're a high school coach now as well. Like, can you speak to just how difficult that is for Matt McMahon to try to develop continuity?
Man, I would say just be patient, because coming into a situation like that, it can be easy. I think it's going to be definitely a rebuilding stage. Man, I think one of the great things that they did was keeping Tasman on the staff, because he has a great relationship in the community. And like right now, I think Baton Rouge is producing a lot of good basketball players right now, and like just in that area. So I believe they'll be able to recruit and get a lot of the better in-home players to stay home. But it's got to be tough, like coming into a situation like that and everybody's leaving and like you don't have any scholarships. But man, I just from what I've seen, he's managing it pretty well. He's doing a pretty good job of just maintaining, and you know. So I don't know. I'm expecting good things from him. I give him about 2 years, and I think we'll be really good again.
It'll be curious to see how they fare once the competition ratchets up when they hit conference play, and that's right around the corner. Stromile Swift, man, former Tiger great. Always great to chat, man. Glad you're doing well. We're going to visit again soon, man. Thank you for the time as always.
Yes, sir, man. I appreciate you having me.
All right, Stro. We'll do it again soon. That is Stromile Swift. This is After Further Review. Saints back on the practice field today, getting ready for the Dirty Birds to come to the Dome on Sunday. Let's take a closer look at Atlanta, which looks drastically different now than they did when the Saints saw them in Week 1. Our buddy Mark Zinno is going to join us next, talk some Falcons. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. 293-0450. You can call them right now. 293-0450 or lainsurance.net. Look, I know for so many people, you've experienced this. Ida hit last summer. We were flooded, obviously, with insurance claims, and so many companies subsequently left the state of Louisiana and left a lot of homeowners in Louisiana without coverage. If that's you, call Insurance Network of Louisiana. Let them shop independently for free to see if they can help find you better coverage for less money. Let them get you back on the straight and narrow. Trust me, I venture to say that there's not a situation you could present to them which would be foreign, that they haven't seen. They've seen just about everything. It's Insurance Network of Louisiana, 293-0450, 293-0450, or lainsurance.net. Better coverage for less money. Online, lainsurance.net.
Thank you, Acadiana, for over 55 years of allowing Corval Toyota in Opelousas to take care of you and your automotive needs. Enjoy this holiday season with family and friends. From the Corval Toyota family to yours, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Nearly half of children in foster care drop out of school. But you can rewrite that story. Children and youth with CASA and GAL volunteers are more likely to succeed in school. Change a child's story. Become a volunteer today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è. Oh, oh, oh.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
We're going to head to Atlanta here just a minute. Check in with our buddy Mark Zinno, 92.9 The Game in Atlanta, talk Falcons. We talked to Mark before the game week 1 when the Saints went to Atlanta, had the big rally, and won that game. What a dramatically different feeling we have now than we did then. Trying to connect here with Mark. We'll see if we can do that shortly. If you missed the news, Mississippi State has made it official that Zach Arnett is the new full-time head coach at Mississippi State. The defensive coordinator was promoted on an interim basis when with Mike Leach going to the hospital, and of course Mike Leach has died on Monday night, and it's such a curious situation. It's not curious, just really an impossible situation. Because you want to maintain some degree of stability around the program. But remember, Mississippi State doesn't even have an athletic director yet. Remember, John Cohen, who was our athletic director, left to take the Auburn job. So State hasn't even hired an AD yet. So they have an interim AD, and then Mike Leach got sick and, and of course, suddenly died. And they had promoted Zach Arnett to continue the bowl preparation, and now they've quickly made him the full-time head coach. Pete Thamel was the first to tweet this earlier today. We're waiting on a formal announcement from Mississippi State, but again, he's expected to become the next head football coach. He's been given a 4-year contract. Thamel noted this was about an hour ago that the contract hadn't been signed yet, but this appears that's just a mere formality now as they discuss terms, etc. But just a very, very, I don't know. I don't know what direction they might have gone otherwise, especially because of the way that program had been structured under Mike Leach, which is a very specific offense. So Well, what a very, look, a tragic situation because you're talking, in a literal sense, because you're talking about somebody's death, but a nearly impossible situation for the administrators there at Mississippi State as well to try to figure out how to make sure you maintain some type of stability there at Mississippi State. Anyway, Zach Arnett, it appears, their DC, is going to be hired as the full-time permanent head coach at Mississippi State. All right, it's after further review. Our Hump Day shows are brought to you by Pluckers. Saints and Falcons, they'll tangle in the Dome on Sunday. Far cry from what this matchup looked like week 1 at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Our buddy Mark Zinno joins us now to talk a little bit about the Atlanta Falcons and what we can expect to see Sunday in the Dome. Mark, we appreciate a couple of minutes, man. How are you?
Matt, great. Always great to be with you, man. Thanks for having me.
Man, it's our pleasure. Let's start with the most obvious thing, which is that you're going to have 2 different starting quarterbacks this go-round than we did back all the way back in week 1. What's it looking like there in Atlanta with the quarterback change?
Well, obviously it's been a long time coming, right? Like Mariota's play was never really all that outstanding. I guess the hard pivot was, when Arthur Smith deemed that Desmond Ridder was finally ready. Either that or he had enough of Mariota's play that he just basically had to go and say, look, we're not doing this any longer. So, what we do know is that Arthur Smith has been sort of, at the end of practice over the last couple of weeks, been throwing a whole bunch of extra crap at Desmond Ridder to try and simulate the environment that he's going to be in against the team that he's going to be playing in. You want to call it for a playoff spot. Everybody in the NFC South is fighting for a playoff spot to get their butts kicked in the first round. But beyond all that, there's a lot on the line for this young man here. And more importantly for the Falcons, Matty, here's the thing. They have 4 games to potentially decide a draft strategy for April. What does Desmond Ridder look like? What does he play like? If he's the guy for the Falcons, right? Arthur Smith is super pumped about what he has. He's got a quarterback under a low salary for the next 3 years and $60 million in cap space to go out there and spend to turn this thing into a contender. I don't know if you should be altering your draft strategy based off of a small sample size like 4 games, but it appears like the Falcons are at that spot right now where that may be the case of what they're doing.
Mark, just for a little housekeeping, how much of the talk there in Atlanta is about making the playoffs?
None.
Okay.
It's not really a thing, right? It's a thing, but it's not a thing, right? Like, we all understand that everybody making the playoffs is better than missing the playoffs, but all things considered, it's like if you make the playoffs, you kind of know that you're going to get smoked against the Cowboys or the Vikings or whoever's the 2 seed in the first round, and it's just you get in for the sake of getting in, but in reality, I think more people are looking at, let's see Desmond Ridder play, let's hope he's really good, and we miss the playoffs and get a better draft pick.
But you'd be a division champion. You get a home game. It's incredible to think, but,
listen, you don't have to sell me on the concept of it. I always say, you can make the playoffs, make the playoffs.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to make the playoffs, make the damn playoffs. But, again, Atlanta's a little bit strange in that sense. Their fans are a little bit different.
Let's dig a little deeper into Sunday, then we'll go back to the big picture stuff. Aside from the quarterback difference, what's going to be the biggest difference for this Falcons team that we see on Sunday than what we saw week 1 in Atlanta?
We know they can't get off the field on third down. That might have been up in the air back in week 1, but we know that's the case now. And look, they're still going to be a really good running team. I don't think we knew how good they were going to be in week 1. But I got to tell you, man, Arthur Smith's scheme is off the charts good. The Falcons did nothing to upgrade their offensive line, and they were 32nd in the league last year in rushing yards per game. How did they end up top 5? Because Arthur Smith's scheme is really damn good. And so he's one of the smartest coaches I've ever been around. He really is. And if he gets the right pieces on the chessboard, so to speak, this is a coach right now that I feel like, without being grandiose, has the ability to go win a Super Bowl. Because he just is so much smarter. He's always a step ahead of the guy that he's coaching against.
Stay on the offensive side. So we know Ridder is going to play quarterback. You mentioned the run game. Anything on the outside? Because obviously, look, there's been a lot invested there, and there's been a lot of turnover there as well. How does that matchup look with the Falcons on the outside against those Saints corners?
Well, Drake London, I think, is as good as advertised. He just hasn't had a legitimate quarterback who can get him the football, right? That's really what it boils down to. There's obviously no Kyle Pitts in this matchup. But at the skill positions, the Falcons don't really stack up other than Drake London. So let's just say, for argument's sake, Marshawn Lattimore plays and he's one-on-one and Drake. It's the neutralizing force right there, and you might take him out, and then it's down to Olamide Zaccheaus and Frank Darby and whoever else you found off the scrap heap to go play wide receiver for the Falcons that you've never heard of. And I don't say that as a pejorative to those guys. It's just, it is what it is. Yeah. Other than Zaccheaus, there's not really a name that anybody really, would know without doing the research on who the Falcons are and what they do each week. So, again, I think the matchup of the Saints defense versus the Falcons offense, it's obviously edge Saints defense, but Ritter's the ultimate wild card here. I don't think he's going to take off and run that much. If my understanding of it, I don't think you're going to see him throw any more just because he may be better at throwing the football than Mariota. In fact, I think you may see him throw less. Arthur Smith is all about risk management, right? Like, he's not going to put this young man in situations and give him many opportunities to make mistakes. And that was kind of the whole reason that they held him out for as long as they did, because they really looked at it and said, well, his ceiling is as high as Mariota's. We're not going to be all that much better with Ritter than we are with Mariota. The problem is his floor is going to be that much lower, because what do rookies do? They force bad throws. They get nervous in the pocket. They don't know when to take a sack. They don't know when to throw it away. And so you're opening yourself up to a lot more mistakes. And I think Arthur Smith is really good at limiting those opportunities for a young quarterback to make mistakes.
A couple more minutes here with Mark Zinno. He's on Twitter at Mark Zinno, 929 The Game there in Atlanta. When I look at Atlanta, there's this point in the season where, of course, they had the disappointing Week 1 loss to the Saints, but after the win against San Francisco, by 2 touchdowns, the Falcons were sitting there at 3-3 and looked like a legitimate threat, not only in the division, but potentially to go on a run. And it's, I guess I could say it's fallen apart since then. What has gone wrong from that point where they beat the Niners emphatically to now?
Well, they can't close out games, right? There's only been one game this year they've really been blown out in, and that's the game against Cincinnati. Other than that, the Falcons have been in every game. Even the Panthers game, they lost by 10 points on Thursday night. That was a late Panthers field goal that made it a 10-point game, not a one-score game. But they've been in one-score games every week. And really, that doesn't say – normally you'd say, well, they lose one-score games. That's about coaching. Yeah, it's about coaching when you have talent. The Falcons don't have any talent. That's not a talented roster. It never has been. So despite the fact that they have a subpar roster and they've had below-average quarterback play, they've managed to be competitive this year. And that is the biggest thing the Falcons fans are forgetting and should be focusing on, is that your coach keeps you in games and he keeps you competitive. As much as there's been consternation about why he threw a ball here, why he ran the ball here, why he was so conservative here, at the end of the day, Arthur Smith knows game management, understands how to keep his team in the game, and they're great situationally, Matt. That's the thing. As bad as they are getting off the field on third downs, critical junctions in the game, they figure out a way to do it.
Is there? No, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, I was just going to say, they may end up, the Saints may end up 7 for 12 on first downs, but one of those on third downs rather, but one of those stops may be in the fourth quarter when the Falcons need the ball back. That's just the way it works out.
Yeah. So I don't want to miss that point. Is there pressure from the fan base on Arthur Smith after 1 year?
No, there's no pressure. I think objectively, smart people know that this is, again, a roster devoid of talent for the most part. Other than Grady Jarrett, A.J. Terrell, and right now Drake London, what's really left? You have a very consistent left tackle in Jake Matthews, but other than that, you have no skill position players, and you don't necessarily have an offensive line that can pass block. And that's the other thing why I don't think you'll see Ritter throw a lot. They can't. It's a nosebleed, man. They can't stop anything, that offensive line. Guys are going to get through all night long if they drop back and pass 25 times. It's going to be a recipe for disaster. So they don't really have anybody that can, change the game for them, which is why when the trade deadline came and went, and this was a 500 team, I'm sitting there going, there are players out there that you can get for now and the future that would, make this team a little bit better right now and give them a possible shot at making the playoffs. Why not go do it? But Terry Fontenot passed on it. So, I don't think anybody's pressuring the Falcons to do anything. I think they're more just focused on what the short-term and long-term plan is for next year and beyond.
Man, a pillow fight between the Saints and the Falcons. Who would have thought we'd see this at this point in the year? Hey, before you go, maybe just a thought, how do you see the game going on Sunday, to where if Atlanta's going to have success, it sounds like get off the field on third down is what they're going to have to do. But what's that recipe or that formula on Sunday?
Hold the ball for about 32 to 35 minutes in the game, not get the Saints offense on the field. Now, again, the Saints offense with Andy Dalton is kind of like gross, right? You guys watch it. kind of really ugly. And I still will never understand why Jameis Winston isn't playing quarterback, but that's probably a conversation you guys have had a million times over.
Yep.
Beyond that, the fact that the Saints offense isn't good is going to keep the Falcons in the game. So Arthur Smith will play keep away and try to keep the ball on the ground and keep the chains moving that way. I think you'll see a lot of short passes for Ritter. I think you'll see some screens. I think you'll try to get him, especially early on, try to get him getting a few completions, get comfortable on his belt. Arthur Smith's going to take shots down the field. Always has, always will. Go look at his time in Tennessee. Go look at his time here. And he'll tell you, the metrics for, as bad as Mariota was, the metrics for them throwing the ball down the field in air yards, they're one of the better teams in the league at doing it. So he's going to take his shots. They're going to be very calculated, and he's going to make sure he's got a decided advantage over the Saints defense when he does it, and particularly situationally. That's where Arthur Smith is really good. He's one of the best situational coaches I've ever seen. And again, I say all this with a bad subpar roster, which makes it all that more noticeable because he's doing it so well. So I don't know. I don't think the Falcons win this game. I just think the environment and the Saints defense is enough probably to get them a win. As long as Andy Dalton takes care of the football and doesn't turn it over, which, again, is a total crapshoot. Right. That said, if you guys can do that, I think you'll sneak out a field goal plus win.
Mark Zinno on Twitter at Mark Zinno, 92.9 The Game there in Atlanta. We appreciate it, man. Thanks for a couple of minutes.
Anytime, Eddie. Stay well.
I'm in. Be well. It's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. Brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. If you're hitting the road this holiday season, bring the thing to Shaw Bills, bumper-to-bumper auto service. If it's oil change, tire rotations, or the check engine light, whatever it may be, before you hit the road, make sure that your vehicle's in tip-top shape. And most importantly, if you need tires, get tires where you can get them cheaper than anyone else will sell them. That's at Shaw Bills. They'll sell you name brand tires at wholesale prices. Go to the website if you want more info. Right there, the promotions tab at the top of the page. They've got the 25 days of Christmas savings and the Holly Jolly savings, where you can learn more about the promotions that they have, where you can get name brand tires at wholesale prices. It's ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills. We keep you rolling. All right, we'll do some overrated, underrated coming up here in just a bit. Muslab Tigers in the pros, and about 30 minutes from right now, Louisiana Tech head coach Sonny Cumbie is going to be with us. He played for and coached under Mike Leach at Texas Tech. So we're happy to have Sonny Cumbie join us to share some memories of the late Mike Leach in about 30 minutes from right now. Xavier Hill from LSU, another offensive lineman, has jumped in the transfer portal. So a lot of news, a really newsy day today as we've made our way through the show. So we're glad to have you aboard with us. I mean, not gonna break. Come back, do some overrated, underrated. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. Just today I was driving down Perkins. I was at the light at Perkins and Segan. At the red light, look to my left, and right there at the intersection, a big yellow River City's 1 Hour Air van. Got River City 1 Hour Air coming out to my house on Friday for the preseason heater safety check. What I encourage you always to do is that standard seasonal maintenance. Make sure during the summertime you've got your AC in tip-top shape, and as you move into the winter months, make sure your heater is safe, efficient to run. River City's 1 Hour Air. Mention the Moscona special. They'll knock $30 off the preseason heater safety check. Get this done, y'all. Get this done. I know you look outside right now, it's 60 right now, but it's been the 80s and the upper 70s. You're not even thinking about winter, but this is the time to get it done because you know those cold weather months are coming. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt and Hill. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
My dad just really enjoyed his life, and he enjoyed smoking cigars and thought he was invincible. My stepdad quit smoking, and he really felt like he was in the clear. Sorry. I wish they would have been screened annually. It's not just you affect, it's your entire family.
For more information on Ochsner's free smoking cessation program and to see if you qualify for early lung screenings, visit ochsner.org/quit.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales service.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Mississippi State has announced they're going to hold a memorial service for Mike Leach inside of Humphrey Coliseum. Of course, it's the basketball arena there on campus. That's going to happen Tuesday at 1 o'clock Central. It is open to the public, so the Mike Leach Memorial Service, again, will happen a week from yesterday. I haven't seen announcements about arrangements for Mike Leach, where he plans to be buried, or of course he was from Wyoming, if I'm not mistaken, and lived all over the country. I mean, lived in coached and lived all over the place. So I don't know what those plans are, if when we see him. Unless he was born in California, in Susansville, California, but he was living somewhere there in the Midwest. Of course, coach at Iowa Wesleyan. That's where Brian Kelly said he first came across Mike Leach. But in any event, they'll have a memorial service there for the Mississippi State community on Tuesday in Starkville. All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. But just it's such a this has been a real newsy day. It's been interesting because we started the day and learned the Saints have added Eno Benjamin via the waiver wire. They put in a claim on Eno Benjamin, who they put a claim in on him earlier a few weeks back, but the Texans had priority, so he went to the Texans after playing 2 games there. The Texans waived him. Now the Saints have claimed him. So Eno Benjamin was picked up by the Saints. LSU offensive lineman Xavier Hill jumped into the transfer portal today as well. Mississippi State is named Zach Arnett. It's a full-time head coach replacing Mike Leach, the defensive coordinator. So we've had a lot of news here just in the hour and a half that we've been on air. So who knows what will happen here over the remainder of the show. But glad to have you aboard with us here. All right, we do this every Wednesday. Loosen the tie a little bit. Let's do a little overrated, underrated. Fire away, Muse, if you would.
Overrated or underrated?
I personally think he's criminally underrated.
All right, Matt. Overrated or underrated? Pretzels.
Ooh. You know what I had for you? I had a handful of chocolate-covered pretzels last night.
Those are good.
That's a great treat. A little salty and the sweet combo. It's a really good treat.
Milk chocolate or white chocolate? Because they got both on the pretzels there.
They were in a bag. I would assume it was milk chocolate. It was not white chocolate. The pretzel itself, I'm going to say, is overrated. I don't think the pretzel alone is a great treat. Here's what I mean. Typically, if you get a pretzel, you're probably using it to dip something, right? We mentioned chocolate covered pretzels. Pretzels in. You ever do pretzels in ranch?
I have not, but I am intrigued. First of all,
pretzels and ranch dressing is fantastic.
Huh?
What at the ballpark? What do they usually cover the pretzels in? Cheese. Like the pretzel alone, it's almost like a Frito. It's a great dipping chip, but standalone, it's not a great option. The pretzel, they tend to be really dry. Now I love a soft pretzel. Okay. I love a soft pretzel. You give me the big soft pretzel you can get at the mall or at the ballpark hanging on the little rack. Give me a soft pretzel. I could eat that all day long. But the pretzel itself, I think, is just overrated. It needs accompaniment.
How did you come across pretzels and ranch?
My dad.
Okay.
I think doesn't everybody just like, there's things that you had in your family that were a thing?
I get, I'm going to try this.
Pretzels and ranch dressing.
Ranch is fantastic.
Pretzels and ranch dressing. And the other thing that I can remember my dad doing a lot as a kid, a lot of people do apples in peanut butter.
Yeah.
Like you'll dip an apple in peanut butter. Celery sticks. My dad would take celery sticks with the jar of peanut butter. And I remember him doing that as a kid. And so I do that too. Okay. Celery and peanut butter.
Interesting.
Yeah, just with the jar of peanut butter, get you the stick of celery and just scoop it on in there. Yeah.
Overrated or underrated? Snowball fight.
Again, I'm going to say that the snowball fight is overrated. Although I don't think many people are even able to do snowball fights because you have to live somewhere where there's snow. The problem with the snowball fight is that it's freezing. And so anything outdoors when it's that cold such that there is snow accumulation is by definition not fun. So I want no part of that. Anyone that wants a part of that, there are just better ways to spend your time where it doesn't potentially end in frostbite. So snowball fight, overrated.
Overrated or underrated? Phone camera.
Oh, the phone camera is possibly the most underrated development of our lifetime. We take it for granted. The fact that you can capture any moment in spectacular high definition. Not only, we think about, recording, I mean, what do people do? You're at an event, you're at a concert, you're at anything, you're at a red light, and there's a fight. You're just recording. Always, you pull out it's turned the world into a reporter, but even more so, you can capture every moment. Erica, we're just sitting here on the show, and I got a video of Drew, my son, sitting in the recliner with his puppaw watching Polar Express, and it's
Great movie.
that's a moment that would be lost in time, but now we have a record of it, and puppaw won't be around forever. Not to think about it along that lines, but all because we have camera phones. Because when I was, you're not like if your son's sitting on the chair with puppaw, you're not running to go get the big camera you throw up on your shoulder with the VHS thing slapped in the side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why it's changed the world. Of course, it is the amount of content we can record now because of the cameras on the phone is stunning. As much as we all use it, it's still the most underrated development of our lifetime, I think.
Fair. Overrated or underrated? The spork.
A spork's overrated. Give me a spoon or a fork. I don't need it. I don't need the spork.
You don't like the combo?
I get people like the combo. I think they like to say spork. I think Popeyes. Did Popeyes invent it? If they didn't invent it, if they didn't invent it, then I'm sure they did. But I like the spork. Like it's a whatever you do with a spork, you can do with a spoon or a fork. Like if I'm going to eat gumbo, I can use a spoon. I don't need a spork. If I'm getting some type of side dish, I can use my fork and it's perfectly fine. They serve the purpose. The spork is just an unnecessary development. I think people just like to say it. They like to think it's quirky or cool, or they found, so they're in on something cool. It's just unnecessary. You don't need a spork.
The spork was first offered by KFC.
KFC did.
Not Popeyes, yeah.
Okay.
KFC
did.
The patent is owned by Plastico Limited.
Okay.
Whoever that is. I don't know.
Not needed. It's not needed.
It's 2-in-1. It's great.
It's unnecessary.
Why?
Because I can do with either a spoon
But you don't
or
have
a
to.
fork
Because you can use a spork.
But I don't need a spork. Point. But I don't need a spork is my point. Whatever you're doing with a spork, I can do with a spoon or a fork and be just fine.
Right.
So tell me one thing that I need a spork for that I couldn't do with either a spoon or a fork.
Well, I can't because that's the thing, but you don't need either when you can use one and achieve it.
And what I'm telling you is based on the meal I'm eating, I could pick either a spoon or a fork, and it would be just as functional, if not more so, than a spork.
I like the two birds, one stone aspect.
But it's unnecessary. There aren't two birds to kill is the point. That's the point. There's never been a meal when I'm eating with a plastic utensil where I go, I need a spoon and a fork. The only time where I would need both is if I'm at like a fine restaurant where I'm having like soup, salad, and a steak. Well, I need a spoon, a soup spoon. Okay, that's not Popeyes, brother. Like when I go to Popeyes, I'm getting handheld chicken. Like, do you use a fork and knife to eat your Popeyes?
I do not.
You don't. What do you use?
Yeah,
fingers. You use your fingers, brother. Right. And you know what? If you get the mashed potatoes or any side, you know what you could do? You know what you could do with the mashed potatoes? You could use a spoon. And I don't need a spork. And I don't need a fork. I can use one, is my point. And if I'm sitting at a white tablecloth dinner where I'm going to have a steak and soup and salad and all that stuff, I want many utensils. I don't want to keep using the same dirty stuff. And you know what else I like too? I like when they come by with the little bread picker up and they scrape the table to get all the breadcrumbs. I don't like sitting at a table in my own filth. There's dirty plates, get it away. Don't leave this dirty plate on my table. Come get the dirty plate. Take the dirty plate away and scoop the little bread. You know how they slide? You know what I'm talking about?
No. What do you, the bread thing? What do you mean?
Oh, Muse. Sometimes I got to remember the company I'm keeping. Paul, you know what I'm talking about.
Whoa, easy now.
Okay, Muse. There is a device that servers at restaurants, like white tablecloth restaurants have.
Yeah.
It's a small blade, and whenever you eat bread, you get crumbs and stuff on the table.
Of course.
Right.
In your lap, everywhere.
They take out this little device, this blade, and they scrape it on the table, and it picks up all of the breadcrumbs. It cleans your dining area. Yes, maybe you should get out every now and again. Be a little cultured. There's more than penny pitcher night out in the world, okay? There's more than backwards hats and quarter zips that you wear every single day, okay? We need to get you cultured a little bit here, all right? We'll take you to a cotillion or something like that. Learn you some manners. Paul, what's wrong with this guy? I mean, Paul, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
must not get out a lot.
Oh my God, I'll tell you.
I get out all the time.
Muse, what's going to happen? Like, whenever you find the future Mrs. Muse, and then you take her to a dinner, and you're not even aware that they come clean the table. I need to teach you some stuff.
Yeah, I've never been to a nice restaurant before. That's happened. I haven't noticed the
like
bread.
You've never been to a nice restaurant that you don't even know what I'm talking about. Like, I don't know that I've been to a nice restaurant where they don't come by with the little bread scraper and clean the table.
Right.
Paul, have you?
Yeah.
You've been to a restaurant where they haven't done that?
No. I've seen it.
I mean, brother, you go to Ruby Tuesdays. I mean, they're not going to come scrape your table for you.
I don't think I've ever been to Ruby Tuesdays.
Fill in the blank of the generic place where you go to slug 2-for-1 beer. Chili's, okay? How about Chili's, Muse?
Honey
Work
Chipotle
with
chicken
me.
crispers.
Fine. Chili's is wonderful. I love Chili's. I love the 2-for-1 beers.
Haven't been in a long time.
Yeah, it's great. Chili's is great. It's great for what it is, but understand that you're going to go to places in your life where you're going to have to treat the lady nice, Muse, and she's going to wonder, like, hey, will they come to scrape the table with the little bread thing?
I don't think she's going to ask that.
She might. If she's cultured and wise to the ways of the world and expects to be treated like a lady and have a fine meal and... Muse. Got to work on it, man. We'll work on it. All right, we're way late now. Can you just say that's...
Yeah, that's overrated.
Okay, this is after further review. Muse will have Tigers in the Pros where he will just further illustrate how uncultured he is. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. You see, Muse, around the holidays, people go to Clegg's and they buy Christmas trees. They actually pay money for these Christmas trees that they then bring to their home and decorate. And it's a family occurrence that people do. And it's a great, great tradition that you and the future Mrs. Muse will do one at Paul. You all decorate a Christmas tree, you and Sam?
We did.
Yeah? Do you have ornaments for Opal?
We do.
That's pretty cool. Paul, such a plethora of words from Paul, I tell you. I really enjoy always our chats, Paulie. But you can go to Clegg's. Did you go to Clegg's to get your tree? Just say yes.
Yeah.
Go to Clegg's, get your tree, even if you're lying. We did. And our tree's beautiful. Trees, poinsettias, Christmas decor, discounted right now is your, 10 days, 11 days from Christmas. So discounts. You can even go buy that Christmas decor for next year at a discount right now. And great gift ideas. Gift cards to Clegg's are always a great idea. Buy local, shop local. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP on a new 2022 Ford F-150, plus no payments for 90 days and 2.9% APR for 72 months. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
My dad just really enjoyed his life, and he enjoyed smoking cigars and thought he was invincible. My stepdad quit smoking, and he really felt like he was in the clear. Sorry. I wish they would have been screened annually. It's not just you affect, it's your entire family.
For more information on Ochsner's free smoking cessation program and to see if you qualify for early lung screenings, visit ochsner.org/quit.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Time doesn't stop, and the world keeps spinning. Community, culture, and communications, the powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution, a network built for every possibility, moving faster than ever before, streaming us forward into the future. And the revolution is closer than you think. RTC, ETEL, and Vision are now Rev. New name, same company.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
The uncultured Matthew Musso. He has just annihilated our clock. So we gotta go because of his. Paul showed Muse in the break the breadcrumb scraper. Is your mind blown?
Pretty impressive. I kind of like that thing.
You see? That's my point. You keep the table clean, Muse. All right, Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
Alrighty, the latest update in the Odell Beckham sweepstakes. The sweepstakes might be over. Jeremy Fowler is reporting that Odell Beckham Jr. is leaning towards sitting out the entire 2022 regular season and postseason, signing with his new team to start free agency in March. Executives who have done their homework on Beckham expect him to wait because, as one told ESPN, quote, he'll be the prize of a thin free agent wide receiver class.
Okay.
Justin Jefferson. We told you yesterday that he went we told you on Monday that he went over 200 yards receiving again. In doing so, he now leads the NFL in receiving yards, besting Tyreek Hill by 40 yards, 1,500 yards even for Justin Jefferson so far on the year, 4 games left to play. NBA action last night. Another solid night off the bench for Tari Eason for the Houston Rockets. 19 minutes, 3 of 8 shooting, a perfect 4 of 4 from the charity stripe. 10 points in all, added 7 rebounds, 1 steal, which he leads the Rockets in steals per game. And blocked 2 shots as well. +1 and +- for Tari Eason. That is Tigers and Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com. Gentlemen, Christmas is almost here. If you are thinking about popping the question, the best place to go is where Baton Rouge has gone to get engaged for 40 years. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Corporate in Bocage, in the Mall of Louisiana, and online at LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, coming up right after Sports Center, we're going to head up to Ruston, and we're going to chat with Sonny Cumbie. Sonny Cumbie played under and coached under Mike Leach at Texas Tech, and what a week it has been for that entire Mississippi State community, and then everyone, of course, who knew and loved Mike Leach. Among them is his former player and assistant, Sonny Cumbie, who will join us coming up right after Sports Center. Hour 3 is next.
AFR.
I want to take 60 seconds and remind you about GMFS Mortgage, gmfsmortgage.com. Not sure if you saw the news today, Fed with another bump in rates, and indicators are that it may not be the last. So I would highly recommend you call GMFS Mortgage. Find a local loan officer. You may be looking at these interest rates rising and thinking it's not a great time to buy or refinance. Talk to a local loan officer at GMFS Mortgage and let them advise you as far as the best products available, the best timing. It may be that right now is a good time to buy before rates go even higher. And then eventually, when the market settles, you can refi. Have that conversation with a local loan officer at GMFS Mortgage. Again, online at gmfsmortgage.com. gmfsmortgage.com. GMFS Mortgage. Changing lives.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $11,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% with 72 months on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. It has been a busy day of watching the weather in the capital area. Multiple tornado warnings across South Louisiana, but no major reports of damage here. Damage was reported, though, near Lafayette at a hospital and some neighborhoods. We have team coverage of the weather situation today across South Louisiana. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste and only 96 calories. It's Miller time.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news. ESPN's Pete Thamels reporting Mississippi State's hiring defensive coordinator Zach Arnett as its next head football coach. He will replace Mike Leach, who died Monday night after complications related to a heart condition. For the first time in 4 weeks, Jets quarterback Zach Wilson will be in uniform as the backup. The team's preparing as though Mike White will start. Wilson, benched November 23rd after struggling badly in the Patriots' loss, will replace Joe Flacco as the number 2 QB this week, a move explained by head coach Robert Saleh.
Zach's been doing a great job. He's been deliberate in his approach over the last 3 weeks. He's been holding himself accountable with regards to how he wants to attack practice, how he's been performing in practice, going against our defense, which I think is a pretty good defense to go against.
Cardinals put quarterback Kyler Murray on injured reserve. He'll have surgery on his torn ACL after Christmas. France defeated Morocco 2-0 at the World Cup semifinals to advance to the tournament final and will take on Argentina for the title Sunday. France looking to be the first team in 60 years to retain the World Cup crown in back-to-back tournaments.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance flexes to fit your business's needs. From quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options, Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us, AFR. Presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. You heard the news there just during the top of the hour Sports Center. Mississippi State has made Zach Arnett, the defensive coordinator there, the permanent replacement as head coach for the late Mike Leach, who passed earlier this week. We have spent a lot of time the past couple of days remembering Mike Leach, his life, his legacy, and it's always great to get the perspective of someone who knew him. And Louisiana Tech head coach Sonny Cumbie certainly qualifies. He played for Mike Leach, was a walk-on on Mike Leach's first Texas Tech team back in the year 2000, later coached at Tech under Mike Leach, and now Sonny Cumbie, the head coach at the Louisiana Tech, is good enough to join us for a couple of minutes. Coach, it's a pleasure, especially considering the circumstances. I can't thank you enough for being willing to come on for a couple of minutes. How are you?
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on, and I'm glad to be on. And you know, any time that things like this happen, it's always I think it's good to be able to reflect back on the impact that that Mike had on me and on just really everyone else, the country, college football, and just to remember him for really the person that he was, and so appreciate you guys having me on.
Of course. What's for you the last 24 hours been like personally?
I think it's just shocking. I mean, it's shocking how quickly it all happened. And you watch, you watch TV, you listen to the sound bites, you listen to the interviews, and it's just surreal to think that he's not here, and to think that, college football, and to think that, just such a great, brilliant mind, not just about football, but just about anything. I mean, there's a lot of people who talk about topics, and they may not really know what they're talking about when it comes to them, but Mike Leach knew pretty much everything about everything. He had a brilliant mind, and so it's really shocking that you see that and to just realize that, man, he's not here with us. And there's really a void, I think, that everybody feels in different ways, knowing that Coach Leach has passed.
You, I mentioned that you walked on to his first team at Tech back in 2000. What was it like were you recruited? What was it like being recruited in that process of joining that first team there in Lubbock?
Well, I think one of the things and being on the coaching side of things now and seeing, he was the head coach, first year head coach in the Big 12. And he took the time on a Sunday afternoon to meet me personally in the parking lot and right outside of our bubble there in Texas Tech, and showed me around as the head coach. And that doesn't ever happen. I mean, think about how many head coaches would take the time to show a walk-on, basically give him an official visit. And Mike did that for me and for many others. And so, all the opportunities that I've had through football have directly derived from the impact that Mike had on my life and my career and the opportunities he given me. And so, just very appreciative of him. And, the recruiting process, I knew the type of offense that he had. He was going to throw the ball all over, and I knew that I couldn't run, and so I knew it was going to be a great fit for me.
You mentioned all the videos, and Sonny Cumbie is our guest, who played for Mike Leach at Tech and coached under him there as well. All the videos that have come out, man, and everybody's paying their tributes in the way that he was just a truly unique individual. Did you get any Mike Leach stories as a recruit or as a player, like as we understand, air quotes, Mike Leach stories? You got any good ones?
Well, I think it's funny is I read an article on The Athletic about him whenever he was at Washington State, and basically they asked all the quarterbacks in the room, just what is it like to be in the meeting room with Coach Leach. And I will tell you that you could replace probably all of those Washington State quarterbacks' names with the Texas Tech quarterbacks' names that he coached, and it was the exact same. It was like the exact same as far as there was an unspoken rule, like you don't bring up any topic other than football in the meeting because you're never going to get out of the meeting. There's a great chance if you start talking about anything non-football related that you'd be late to practice just because, his knowledge and his passion for really every topic that you could bring up. And so, I think that the thing that and not as a player, but I think as a coach last year, probably the greatest memory that I hold on to amongst all the funny stories and all the things that innovative offense and moments and long nights that we've had with Coach Leach. The thing that really sticks with me in my heart and warms my heart is just the opportunity that I had after the bowl game last year at Liberty Bowl to introduce my boys to Coach Leach. And so that was a really powerful moment because it's like, you're introducing your 6 to 9 year olds to the guy that they've heard so much about, and a very proud moment for me to meet, to have them meet him after the game. And man, he was just so gracious with them as he was with everyone.
Yeah. We're showing that photo right now for anyone who's watching of Sonny and Mike Leach and his two boys there after the bowl game a year ago. It's on Sonny's Twitter if you want to go check it out. You can see that picture right there. But you coached under Mike Leach as well. How did that relationship develop or translate from player to assistant?
Well, I think that he never treated me. I know sometimes you hear guys like, hey, they were a player under this coach and they went to coach under him, and then he was really hard on them because the coach maybe treated him still like the player, and it was never that relationship. I mean, it was always he treated me just like an assistant. I sat in the room and listened and tried to soak up as much as I could from him, and he would answer questions that I had for him one-on-one, and we would sit in that meeting room and break down film, just he and I, and have a lot of conversations and just trying to get into insight into how he game planned and just thoughts that he had. And so was always treated me great as a GA. And I still remember bringing him coverage charts the first time. You really, it's like I want to do it just right for him. I want to get everything beat down to the, all the details of everything. And I'm bringing my first coverage chart. I've worked on it forever. I hand it to him, and he looks at it, and he kind of lifts it back to me, and he says, no. There's no way that this team runs that many coverages. All I want to know is it one safety or two safety? Is it man or zone? And when you can tell me that, bring me back another report. So he kept the game very simple, but also I think from you're very good at what you did.
A couple more minutes with Sonny Cumbie, Louisiana Tech head coach, and played for and coached under Mike Leach at Texas Tech. I mentioned this really all throughout my show yesterday, Sunday, and I'll ask you. Mike Leach's quotables will live on, right? We have the internet, and we have so much of it captured, and generations will be able to look on Twitter or YouTube and see all the funny things that Mike Leach said throughout his life. The thing that can't be lost, though, is the impact that he had on football, winning in places like Lubbock and Pullman and Starkville, where people don't typically win, and the way that he really transformed the game, and then also with his coaching tree, of which you are a part, and names like Lincoln Riley and Sonny Dykes, and it goes on and on. When I ask you about Mike Leach's legacy as a football coach, how would you begin to start to describe what that will be?
Well, I think that one of the things that sometimes goes, you talk about the offensive side of things, and in the Big 12 when he came to Texas Tech, nobody threw the ball like we did. And now you look across the landscape of offensive football on all levels, their schemes and their parts and bits and pieces of the air raid offense, what he brought and Coach Mummy and those guys brought. I think the thing that goes unnoticed is how he probably helped the game transform from a defensive standpoint, because defensively people had to recruit differently. People had to scheme differently. They had to build defenses differently to try and slow down the air raid offenses, to try to slow down the teams that threw the ball all the time. And so I think that not only did you see the transformation of offensive football, and he spearheaded that, but you also saw a transformation of people, personnel, how people recruit on defense, how they play defense, and how basically teams are playing defense now. And that's was part of the offensive influence that he had on the game of college football and football in general.
If I asked you, we talk about what he meant to you from a football perspective, and that's that much. I think you pretty eloquently stated here. What about personally? What Mike Leach meant to you and to so many others?
Well, I think that the strength of him as a coach, or one of them, was his undying, unwavering belief and his scheme and his system and how you prepared and how you practiced. And I think, for all of us, we felt that he had that for us. And I think that's what you carry with you. I think that, he had that unwavering belief in his players. And I think that's something that you try to pass on into others, And so I think that's probably the biggest thing, from a personal standpoint is you knew Coach believed in you and he had your back. And I think I read an article when he talked about loyalty and how important it was to him. Sometimes you didn't always maybe know how much you meant to him, but he would always find a way to share it to you, and in his own way of letting him know how much he loved you, and he was very, very, very much believing in you all the time.
It's beautifully said. Sonny Cumbie, Louisiana Tech head coach. I sincerely thank you for spending a couple of minutes with us today. I think I sent to you in the text earlier. From my perspective, it's always one of the most awkward things in the world to do, to try to ask someone to come on air and talk about someone they loved, who they lost. But and on behalf of our audience, can't thank you enough for a couple of minutes today, and our condolences to you and everybody who knew and loved Mike Leach well.
Well, I appreciate you guys having us on and taking this time to share what Coach Leach, meant to not only me, but I mean, you can probably input anybody that played or coached for him, and it's pretty much the same. So I appreciate you guys doing that.
Well said. Thank you, Coach. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay. Be well. That is Sonny Cumbie. We'll continue. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. Inching closer, y'all, to Christmas. It is the 14th, so we are 11 days away. 11 days away from Christmas. If you're going to be having that Christmas party for maybe just that Christmas dinner or Christmas Eve for you, for your family, maybe a work party, let Rouse's handle all of the cooking. As they say, leave the fuss to us when it comes to holiday dinners. Go to the website, Rouse's.com, download the Rouse's app. You'll see it right there on the homepage with the splash screen. You'll see all the catering options from Rouse's. You can have that. It's heat and eat traditional meals. From the center plate to all of the sides. Cornbread dressing, dirty rice dressing, the shrimp mirliton, the oyster Bienville dressing, spinach madeleine, sweet potato casserole, mac and cheese, mashed potatoes. They got it all at Rouse's. Heat and eat this holiday, courtesy of Rouse's. Rouse's.com.
Every business is different, but B1 Bank knows that every business owner has similar needs. From streamlining accounts receivables to maintaining access to working capital, a trusted bank is your best asset for staying on top of day-to-day finances and planning for future business growth. At B1 Bank, I know I have access to commercial banking experts who care about the needs of my business and can guide me to accomplish my goals. B1 Bank knows that managing your business isn't simple, but they can help you make it uncomplicated.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big V and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Of course, Plucker's Trivia tonight every Wednesday, both locations, 7:30 Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock Nicholson. Get on by. We'll do some trivia here in about 15 minutes from right now. Newsy day for the Saints. They have placed a waiver claim and been awarded running back Eno Benjamin. So with Mark Ingram's injury, the Saints do add some experienced depth there at running back with Benjamin, who was a 7th-round pick out of Arizona State a year ago of the Cardinals. Played well a year ago, and then in 10 games this year was waived, and then picked up by Houston, where he played 2 games, now waived again by the Texans, and he'll join the New Orleans Saints. First injury report of this week is out, and it's lengthy, as it has been all season long for the New Orleans Saints. We'll go through the notables here. The players that did not practice: Zach Bond, Mark Ingram, which was expected. Will Lutz did not practice. He was labeled with an illness designation. Dwayne Washington also with an illness, and P.J. Williams with that knee injury did not practice. Those that were limited: J.T. Gray, Juwan Johnson, who missed the last game before the bye. Cam Jordan was limited with that foot injury that the NFL says was faked. Marshawn Lattimore limited. Ryan Ramczyk, as has been pretty much the case every Wednesday this year, with a rest day on Wednesday. Adam Troutman, Peyton Turner, and Pete Werner all limited. Of course, of note there is Pete Werner, who had that procedure and was back at practice today. Would not commit as to whether or not he would play this week, but for Pete Werner to be back on the practice field already, that's certainly encouraging. Now, Caden Ellis has played well in his stead, but Werner's kind of one of those guys who really right now you look and you go, do you really need to rush it? Your season, for all intents and purposes, is over. You have this really talented young player in Pete Werner who you don't want to further exacerbate an injury, and you've got a young guy in Caden Ellis who's played well in his absence, so maybe you don't rush Pete Werner back, but we'll know, obviously, as the week goes along, but we'll keep an eye on that. Werner was on the practice field, was just limited. Only Marcus Mariota and guard Chuma Edoga from the Falcons on their injury report. So Atlanta, at this point in the season, coming off their bye, also very healthy, certainly relative to the New Orleans Saints. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us. We'll keep an eye on the injury report as we move throughout the week and we get closer to Saints-Falcons on Sunday. Mark Zinno was with us last hour. We previewed the Falcons, who are going to start Desmond Ridder. It's so odd when you think all the way back to week 1. Saints-Falcons in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, where the Saints had that massive fourth-quarter comeback behind Jameis Winston, the game where we later learned he was injured. But, man, the Saints at that point were 1-0, and it just felt dramatically different than it does right now, with the Saints at 4-9 and the Falcons at 5-8, and just two very bad football teams that find ways to lose and lose close games, and just not a lot to play for. The difference, of course, Atlanta has its first-round draft pick. And depending on what happens over the next 4 games with Desmond Ridder as the starting quarterback could determine, even if that's not a large sample size, if they use their first-round pick on a quarterback or if they're confident moving forward with Ridder as their quarterback, the third rounder. The benefit of potentially moving forward with Ridder, as we've discussed, is you have the opportunity to have your starting quarterback on a rookie deal, a rookie third-round deal. This is the example that I always give, of course, is Russell Wilson, who was a third-rounder. The reason Seattle was able to build and have that run they did in the early 2010s with Russell Wilson is because you had a franchise quarterback on a rookie third-round deal. And ultimately, whenever the bill came due on Wilson and they had to pay him, they had to decide who they weren't going to pay. And that's when you started to see Richard Sherman and those guys from the Legion of Boom defense ultimately not be retained because you had to decide who you were going to pay. And the Saints went through something similar, obviously, where they had to decide who they were going to pay. And so you started to make decisions. Well, they paid Michael Thomas, and they paid Alvin Kamara. They paid Ryan Ramczyk. And they let guys like Trey Hendrickson and Marcus Williams walk. And Von Bell. And ultimately, some of those decisions have proven not to be great. And that's why the Saints are in the position where they are. But the Falcons look like they're going to have, they will have their first-round pick, which is gone toward being a top 10 pick, whereas the Saints clearly don't. And they're going to end up handing a top 10 pick to the best team in football in Philadelphia right now, potentially even widen that gap. So Saints and Falcons Sunday noon in the Dome for whatever it is they're playing for. For the Falcons, clearly it's to evaluate Desmond Ridder and see if they have a future in that young guy, or if they're going to use their top 10 pick on potentially their franchise quarterback. All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. I'm actually going to get by tomorrow. I want to go drive their EV. South Point in the Volkswagen line has the ID4, which is their all-electric vehicle. If you go to the website at southpointvw.com, you can go reserve your ID4 right now. It's the first electric SUV for everyone. You can build and reserve your ID4 right now at the website at southpointvw.com, and they have 3 on the lot today. Actually, I talked to Kelly yesterday. They had 3 on the lot, and one of them was supposed to be sold yesterday. So I'm going tomorrow. Can't wait to sit behind the wheel of it, give it a test drive. I've driven every vehicle in the Volkswagen line, every make and model since I've endorsed them, except for the ID4, and I'm looking forward to going and having the opportunity to do that tomorrow. Airline just north of Highlander online at southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned. You get the great German engineering without the cost, and, of course, manufactured right here in the USA at their Tennessee plant. It's South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? Let's see. A couple other things I wanted to get to here real quickly before we break and get to the Pluckers news. The other notable thing today that we talked about, Xavier Hill, LSU offensive lineman Xavier Hill, is the 3rd offensive lineman to hit the transfer portal in this class, making that announcement earlier today. Essentially, everyone has it. On 3 was the first that I saw that broke the news. Matt Zenitz of On 3. But that now means Marcus Dumerville, Cam Wire, and now Xavier Hill have jumped into the transfer portal. That makes 12 players. Am I doing the math right? I believe it's 12 now from LSU that have entered the portal. We could check the box, but we did this whole...
I think it's 13.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. Because, let's see, we had 8, and then Derek Davis jumped in, which is 9. You had the other O-line.
All right, hang on. Let's do it. I got the list. All right, here we go. All right, Jack Besh is 1.
1.
Demarius McGee.
2.
Ray Darius Jones.
3.
Cole Taylor.
4.
Desmond Little.
5.
Colby Fields.
6.
Cam Wire.
7.
Derek Davis.
8.
Phillip Webb.
9.
Antoine Sampa.
10.
Xavier Hill.
11.
I wish you weren't counting out loud. It distracted me.
Oh. Did we start over?
No, we're missing somebody else now.
Oh, Lord.
Who's not on here? Oh, Dumerville is not on here.
So that
makes 12.
12.
Did I say 12 or 13?
You said 12. I said I thought it was 13.
Who are we missing?
Did we mention Xavier Hill? I didn't hear your name. Okay. Then maybe it's 12. Maybe I was wrong.
I think it's 12.
Okay. We're going to go with 12. Let's go with 12.
I think it's 12. And no, Jordan Tolles is not on the list. That was the thing that threw us for a loop earlier this week when everyone's like, no, it's 9, it's Tolles. No. Jordan Tolles played this year at something called Morgan State. So he is not
powerhouse.
Yeah, he's not a current Tiger in the portal. He played somewhere else this year.
Don't want to run up on Morgan State now.
No. So LSU 12 in the portal. I was asked earlier which was the most surprising. For me, the most disappointing is Jack Besh. I guess it just depends on how you want to describe it. I would have loved to have seen Jack stay. And look, Louisiana guy, you'd love to have seen the Besh Walker Howard connection eventually. So that's disappointing, but I understand why he's going to go somewhere where he thinks he can get more targets. The biggest surprise to me is Derek Davis, because they went to the length they did to redshirt him. And Brian Kelly talked about, hey, look, he did us a favor playing running back against UAB and switching positions. Now we're doing him a favor by preserving that year of eligibility, and he was excited about the future. The offensive linemen are not surprising at all. Wire, Dumerville, Xavier Hill, and that may not be the last of them, quite honestly, y'all. When you look at that position group, when you return your first 6 guys, you know the young guys are staying put, but the veterans who have been here for 3 years plus that aren't playing, the guys like Marcus Dumerville, Xavier Hill, Cam Wire, they're going to go somewhere else to get on the field. But what that means in turn is that Brian Kelly and this coaching staff are going to have to address offensive line in the portal. So when you look at the offers that they've doled out, and there are 6 that have been reported. Kyle Morlock, the tight end, Braden Fisk, the defensive tackle from Western Michigan, the 2 edge players, Braden Swinson from Oregon, Josiah Stewart from Coastal, and then the 2 Arizona defensive linemen, Keon Bars and Paris Shand, who are both in the portal as well. Look, we're looking at other positions, right? Denver Harris is going to visit LSU, the cornerback from Texas A&M. You better believe they're going to have conversations with Aaron Anderson, the former 5-star out of Carr, who spent this year at Alabama and was an LSU, a one-time LSU commit who decommitted and then ultimately signed with Alabama. You better believe he's going to be a target as well. But there aren't any reported offers to offensive linemen yet. Again, I want to reiterate, timeline, this portal window stays open until January the 18th. The draft deadline is January 20th. Then you'll have another portal window after spring football. So you're going to continue to – I mean, the example I always give is Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow didn't commit to LSU until May of 2018. So this is far from over and far from done. I think of greater consequence right now is Brian Kelly realizing who is going to be on his team. Like we looked at the practice video from that LSU released, and guys like Major Burns and John Emery are out there at practice for the bowl practice. You would assume those guys not only going to practice, but would even have the potential to return. So until they know who is coming back for certain, and we learn more about that, then you'll learn who what positions they'll certainly need to address. But offensive line is most definitely going to be one of them. All right, it's after further review. We're going to do some Pluckers trivia coming up. Really just want to take a quick second, though, to acknowledge there have been tornadoes all over today. And as we've been on air, it's really difficult because I've been seeing this, but we're here talking about sports. But all this is going on around us. I know kids had the day off of school because of all of the tornadic activity, but there have been reported tornadoes in New Iberia, in St. Charles Parish, in Araby, and a lot of the pictures and the videos are just sad and devastating, man. So just sincerely hope everybody is okay and taking necessary precautions. And for those that did suffer any kind of damage or anything like that, we'll get through it like we always do. But just thinking about and praying for everyone who's dealing with the bad weather today. All right, let me knock out a quick break. We'll do some Pluckers trivia, have a little fun when we come back. Glad to have you aboard with us here at AFR.
AFR.
It's actually a good opportunity to remind you about HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. Tell you every day, do business with someone you know. HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. And look, I understand when inclement weather comes and bad weather comes, you never want to come across as pushy. And this isn't a sales pitch at all, but it is a reminder that with the bad weather that came through, if you do have a leak in your roof or you find yourself in need of a roof repair or roof replacement, we're here to help. We can work with your insurance adjuster. We can help with whatever it is that you're dealing with. I'm already seeing lots of videos and pictures friends are sending today, and we're happy to be a Louisiana-based roofing company that's going to be able to help in times like this. I just implore you, even if it's not us, call a reputable company that was here before this weather and is going to be here after, that you can call on if anything ever goes wrong. HUDCO Roofing, 364-1007. Give us a buzz, 364-1007, or HUDCOroofing.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
We get it done with strength, commitment, dedication, grit. We get it done with passion for our fans and love for our community. We are the Tigers. Get it done.
Let the values of the purple and gold be in your starting lineup this season. And as always, get it done.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, going to get to Otter Locks in a little more than 10 minutes from right now. The Otter last night, by the way, Muse, another winning night for the Otter. He gave you Memphis plus the 8 against Alabama, which hit. That was a little bit of a nail biter, but Penny's team made it again. They were clutch situationally late, which got that thing close. The Otter lost with the Pelicans, unfortunately. You can give him lost with the Pelicans, but his 3-team parlay with moneyline parlay with LSU, the Milwaukee Bucks, and Rick Pitino's Iona squad, who beat Princeton, managed to pull it out. So we were sweating. They had to come back. I don't know. I was listening to the Otter show for a little bit. At one point, he was imploring them, "Come on, Iona!" Like yelling that on air. And I'm going, is there any other spot in the country where someone is yelling, "Come on, Iona!" like imploring the Iona basketball squad to win a December game against Princeton, than right here in Baton Rouge with our favorite degenerate Jimmy Ott, because he had a 3-team money line parlay that included Iona.
No, probably not. No,
not even in Iona. I don't even know where Iona is. Any idea?
Is it Ohio? I think it's in Ohio.
Are you asking or are you telling?
I said I think it's in Ohio.
Iona is in New Rochelle, New York. You were wrong again, Muse.
What else is new?
Give yourself a buzzer.
It wasn't the trivia. We were not doing trivia yet.
You know what? That's a great transition, though, for a little trivia. All right. Muse, we know he's going to get all these wrong because he always does. It's just the nature of this game.
Not all the time. Just about 95% of the time.
What do you call that game? I win.
I win, yes.
All right, hang on. Let me find these questions. Oh, man. All right, here we go.
All right.
Pluckers Trivia every Wednesday, both locations. Nicholson and Bluebonnet. Bluebonnet gets fired up at 7:30. Nicholson, 8 o'clock. Live action trivia. Get your team together. Go win Pluckers gift cards, free food, other great things. And every team gets to spin the wheel. So no matter if you win a round or not, everyone spins the prize wheel. So every team's a winner. All right, Muse.
You.
In what Spanish-speaking country did the 1907 LSU football team play in the Bacardi Bowl on Christmas Day and win 56-0?
What year was it? 19 what?
1907.
1907. Is it Cuba?
It's Cuba! I can't believe you didn't know that.
Well,
They played the University of Havana.
It was my first. Cuba was my first instinct, but I was like, well, Mexico's right there, but that would make too much sense. So
Did you not
Cuba.
know? Was that a guess?
No, Cuba was my first instinct.
was
Because
it
I know I've heard it before.
Okay, but it was a guess.
In a sense, but like I said, I know I've heard that before.
Okay.
But
have you ever heard of LSU playing Mexico?
No, but I mean, the Bacardi Bowl, I mean, maybe you could have just...
On Christmas Day.
I mean, you could have played someone else there. It didn't have to be a team from Mexico. I don't know.
No.
We got that one right. That's all that matters, Matt. Look.
I think you're going to do well today, actually.
Okay.
I do.
Right.
I think you're going to do well.
All
I do.
right. Well,
Okay.
now you've jinxed
No,
it.
no,
jinxes don't exist, though. So
I think you're going to do okay. I
Okay.
do. Hey, Muse.
All right.
Which late singer plays the title character in the 1996 film The Preacher's Wife?
I'm supposed to get that?
Oh, what year were you born?
93. Oh,
Paulie, you know it?
I do not.
Hold on. Late singer. So
no Googling.
I'm not Googling.
All right.
But it was the actual singer, right, who played this character in the movie? 96. Yeah, no, actually, I don't even have a guess. Yeah.
Hurts my heart. Whitney.
The GOAT. Never seen the movie. I've never seen the movie.
Denzel?
Love Denzel. He's in there too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
He was like an angel or something. She was married and he was an angel and talked to her and showed up at the congregation and stuff and kind of helped, I think, them with their marriage and stuff unknowingly. I mean, with Denzel. Preacher's Wife.
Okay.
Love Whitney. Gotta love Whitney.
GOAT, man.
They're making a Whitney movie.
They are. I saw that. I saw the preview for it last night.
I'm a little, I don't really get Hollywood, man. Well, for many reasons.
Get in line. That's what
But no,
I'm saying.
I know. But here's my point. Everything out of Hollywood is either a sequel, a prequel, a remake, or a copycat something. There's no original screenplays anymore. Like, the Whitney thing. This started when Jamie Foxx did the Ray Charles movie. Remember?
I do remember that, yes.
And then you had Walk the Line, the Johnny Cash movie.
Yeah.
And then they had the movie about Queen. Remember they had the movie about Queen?
That was recent. They had the one about...
They had the movie about Elton John.
Elton John, yes.
Now they had the movie about Elvis.
Yeah.
And now they're having a movie about Whitney. It's like, can anybody come up with a new idea?
Yeah.
Like, can somebody come up with an original screenplay? Like, are they just out of ideas?
Maybe.
Are they just out of ideas?
It's been a while. They've made a lot of movies. Maybe they are just out of ideas. I don't know. Or maybe the ideas they have just aren't any good. The remakes are what get me these days. Like, I feel like remakes are just way popular these days.
Hey, Muse.
All right, we got to get this one for a winning day here.
I'm disappointed you missed Whitney, but I guess
I've never seen the movie.
3 years old when
Yeah.
it came out. That makes sense. I mean, I was born in '82. It's not like I would know everything about Top Gun or anything.
Great movie.
Of course.
Love Top Gun.
How could you not know Preacher's Wife?
Never seen it. I've seen Top Gun multiple times.
You should have seen Preacher's Wife.
Okay.
Because Whitney's the GOAT.
Maybe I'll go watch it.
I love Whitney.
Yeah,
Damn that
she's
Bobby
great.
Brown. Damn that Bobby
She's
Brown
great.
for what he did to her. Ask Erica. She'll tell you. I love Whitney.
I can't blame you.
Whitney. Anyway.
I want to dance with somebody.
That one gets me right here.
It's a good one.
You want to get me up and moving? You want to just put a smile on my face? Just play the little... the beginning of the one. I would just play one of the dance. So you ever want to see? I'm in a bad mood, a wretched mood. Play the beginning of that song and watch my whole physiology change.
That and Get It Ready. Just a great contrast.
Well, that
there.
one's not even that it makes me feel better. It's just that is just an innate. It's almost like a what do you call it? Like an unprogram like
a reflex.
No, like an involuntary response. That's an involuntary response. I mean, you play Get It Ready, and then I'm up doing the Get It Ready. Shout out DJ Jubilee. Got to meet him at the Pels playoff game against the Warriors.
Lock up.
He did the halftime show, and then we were sitting on the floor, luckily, and as he was coming off the floor, I had to go meet him, and so I dapped him up, and I was like, bro, I got to get a picture, man. He took a picture with me. DJ Jubilee.
What a guy.
Shout out to Jubilee, man. That's my guy. I mean, not like he doesn't know me from anybody.
Right.
Maybe he listens to the show. I don't know, but shout out to Jubilee. All right, hey, Muse.
All right, here we go.
In Frosty the Snowman.
Oh, don't get me started on Frosty the Snowman.
Why?
But I continue. Because he's not a Christmas character, Matt. He's not. He's a winter character. And it's not winter everywhere where Christmas happens. It's not winter right now in Australia. Stop forcing Frosty the Snowman down people's throats at Christmas. He's not a Christmas character. All right, ask your question. I told you not to get... I hate that. It makes me very, very mad.
Yeesh.
Makes me angry. I'm sorry. I'm off Frosty.
Paulie, I think we found out why this guy can't get a date. I mean, he starts going off on... He's on a date. He goes off on Frosty the Snowman. That reputation spreads.
No.
Just see what pisses off this guy. I mean... Sheesh. That's the most emotional. That's the most emotional I've ever heard Muse about anything.
That's not true. You've had LSU baseball conversations with me. That's not true.
Close second.
Good. Well, it's just he's not. I mean, he's a snowman. That's it. You could do that in January or February. Hell, if you live in like Denver, you could do it in April.
Why is he so upset about this?
Just it. I don't know why.
I was talking to Paul. I'm sorry. I was talking to Paul.
Me.
We know your opinion, friend. Why is he so? Why? What?
I think he had some bad gummies today.
Shut up, Paul. All right,
and now he's all mad at you, Paul.
Ask your question.
Such an angry.
What we got about Frosty?
He's an angry elf.
Must be a South Pole elf. Feeling strong, friend. Call me elf one more time.
You're an elf.
So good.
Okay. In Frosty the Snowman, what is the name of Professor Hinkle's rabbit?
Oh God. Is it hippity? No. God, you're gonna tell me, and I'm gonna be so mad. I don't know. I can't remember it.
Hocus.
No!
Now he's mad.
Stupid Frosty the Snowman.
He didn't get the Frosty question. Hopefully you get the Pluckers tonight. You do better than Muse did. Knew it. He'd get them all wrong because he stinks. He stinks at
I didn't get them all wrong. I got the LSU Cuba question
wrong. You guessed.
That's not true.
All right, it's after. It is true. You told me that. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020. 924-2020 for the Williamson Eye Center. Go for that free consultation. Remember, the Williamson Eye Center does gift cards as well. So if you want to buy someone LASIK this Christmas, you can give them the gift card and give them the gift of sight. The Williamson Eye Center makes it happen. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com for the Williamson Eye Center. Locations all over the greater Baton Rouge area, including their newest location there in Lutcher, so the River Parishes. That state-of-the-art dry center surgery center on the Baton Rouge General Bluebonnet campus. It's the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. Okay, let's see if the Otter can give us another winning night. Otter Locks next.
AFR.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP on a new 2022 Ford F-150, plus no payments for 90 days and 2.9% APR for 72 months. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Time doesn't stop, and the world keeps spinning. Community, culture, and communications, the powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution, a network built for every possibility, moving faster than ever before, streaming us forward into the future. And the revolution is closer than you think. RTC, ATEL, and Vision are now Rev. New name, same company.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Down the stretch we come, final segment, Hump Day edition of AFR presented by Pluckers. One thing left to do, find out we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks. Presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Ottfather himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, a winning night last night. How are you?
Doing good, man. How about you?
I was right there with you. Come on, Iona! I was listening to you and Mike last night, and you're yelling on the air. Come on, Iona! I'm like, in what other place in the world is somebody yelling, come on, Iona, at a basketball game in December?
Dale's Ricky P, baby.
Let's go.
Yes, indeed. Was close. All right, here we go. Our best NBA bet tonight is Golden State. Golden State, I'm looking at 1.5. Buy it to 1 at I think at DraftKings.
Golden State 1.5. Okay, so buy it to 1. Okay.
Yeah. All right. 4 more plays in college hoops tonight.
All right.
Florida. Looking at minus 12 or so.
All right. Florida. Gosh, dog it. Sorry, I was trying to get the.
I know. It's
I'm trying to do this on the fly. All right, let's see. Florida. My bad. All right.
Florida.
I'm looking at minus 13 at DraftKings.
Yeah. Okay. Florida minus 13.
Okay.
2 games below that is South Carolina plus 16.5.
Okay.
UL Monroe. I'm not sure where they are on the schedule here.
11.5.
Yes.
Plus 11.5 against Sam Houston.
Yep. And the dreaded, as Bill Raftery says, we got onion. Louisville plus 7.5.
All right, Louisville. Yes. All right, Louisville. You said buy it to 8.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Single digits. Always by the half.
Okay.
All right. Let's get your calculator out. Our little NBA Wednesday moneyline parlay.
Okay.
Nuggets, Blazers, Bulls.
All right, Denver, Portland, and Chicago. All right, I'm going to try to get my my fingers moving quickly here.
1 minute remaining.
What are you showing?
I've got, and at your site, it is up. Let me see here. Hold on. It is plus 148. Plus 148.
I know usually it's great radio whenever the so the Bulls minus 170 on the money line.
Yep, minus 170, minus 285, minus 625.
Yep.
Bulls, Blazers, Nuggets. Comes back plus 148 at DraftKings.
Plus 148. I'm looking at it right now. There we go. All right. Game Time with Jimmy Ott follows us in Baton Rouge. If you're not in Baton Rouge, online at 1045ESPN.com. Where are you tonight, Otter?
City Slice got 6 TVs. We need 12. Let's go.
Thank you, Otter. Have a great show. Muse, Paulie, thanks. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
All right, as we get on down the road, we remind you about Mold Zero USA. Mold-0USA.com. That's mold-0USA.com. As a matter of fact, Jim and the gang will be tomorrow out at a building on LSU's campus spraying. And I'm telling you, no matter if it's your home, if it's a commercial building, if it's a res hall, if it's an apartment complex, if it's a church like St. Teresa in Gonzales, which they sprayed several weeks back, Mold Zero. Don't go cutting sheetrock. Don't think you got to pull things out of the home or the attic or whatever it is. Mold Zero can help. They'll come in. They'll spray their patented, non-toxic dry fog. They'll let it dwell for about 45 minutes. Mold can spore. Of course, they want to make sure they kill all of it. And then as soon as the mold dissipates, about a couple hours maybe, you're back in your home. You're back in your building. Clean-smelling, mold-free building, courtesy of Mold Zero. Get that free estimate, mold-0USA.com, mold-0USA.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $11,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 72 months on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.